Hey, Stunthangar fans. It's Monday night, February 10th, 2020, on the Stunthangar Hangout, and we'll hang with you until about midnight. My picture looks a little jumpy. I hope everybody can see me okay. It's okay. My computer's been a little jumpy too, so hopefully we'll get through it. But the links are posted in the usual places. That is in the At the Bench thread on the Stunthangar Control Line forums. And also, if you want to watch on YouTube, you can pull up the Stunthangar YouTube channel and watch it there and use a text box on the forums. In the At the Bench thread, you can click the link in the first post. It should be posted up by now, posted the moment the show starts every night, and the top link, no matter what it says, no matter what kind of device you're on, always click that top link first. It's got links for telephones and other devices, but first try the top link. And if you are on a telephone and want to talk without a camera, that's what the telephone links are for. And if you have any trouble with a device other than a desktop computer with Chrome, you can download the Jitsi app at the store, the App Store, whether you're Android or Apple, and that should get you everything you need. But you can always go to the chat box on YouTube and alert us, and we'll talk you in. And other than that, let's keep it family friendly. And we got a video visitor. First time a video visitors beat the YouTube visitors in a long time. So Tom's here with us. How you doing, Tom?
Hi, Rusty. I'm doing well.
Does everything look okay to you? My picture looked kind of jumpy, and I was hoping that it wasn't a bad picture. It was kind of distracting me if I sound a little goofy in my introduction, but it was chopping all around, and I was getting cross-eyed trying to decide if something was wrong and talk at the same time. And hey, Denny's here with us.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Okay? Good for a Monday. It's been a pretty average day. It's not too cold, so I'll take that. And we had a good weekend. It was my son's 35th birthday, so we had a all-nighter at his house and had a great time.
That's great.
He's at the age now where his friends mesh with us pretty well. You know, we're coming together in distance. It seems, you know, we all listen to the same types of music and think about the same types of things, as opposed to when they were 12 and we were 30 or so, and now they're 35 and she's 45, and we're only in our early 60s. So yeah, coming together.
I have a video I'd like to try and share. I don't know if I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it'll work. This was done by the
I think my sound just went out. Hang on, let me plug my headphones in. What have we got? We've got a picture. Hang on. I'm plugging my headphones in. Y'all give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Can y'all hear me? I can't hear anything. All right.
Oh,
All right.
sounds like we lost him completely.
Maybe it goes haywire sometimes when we're trying to screen share and video too these days. But that's pretty cool. They got some good shots in with those balls.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see what he was doing right off. I actually had to log out and log back in to get where I wanted to be. And then I
Yeah,
finally figured
I
out that
thought I
all
was
that noise
blowing up.
was about. So
I thought I was blowing up at first because it kept
yeah.
muting me, and I thought my speakers had died, and then it was just too much too quick at first. But I finally realized what was happening. He was using two devices, one to put his face and voice on, and the other one to show the video on. So we had him logged in two
Mm,
times, and I was afraid we had a spammer at first, and I'm like freaking out.
yeah,
But
that's it.
anyway, so it looks like they've done some pretty good work in a real short amount of time.
Yeah.
And
Hope Tom rejoins us here. We can reconnect on that.
I
Meanwhile, it looks like
expect
Greg.
to.
Is that Greg?
Yeah, looks like Greg Rodney's here. And can you hear us, Greg? It looks like your picture's frozen.
Tom, that was
I
quite a
guess
show.
I guess I didn't exit properly. Kicked
I don't
myself
know.
right out. Yeah, that's what our robotics team is working on. So
Yeah, yeah. It didn't come on
Pretty
right for
cool.
me at first. I actually had to get off, and then when I got back on, it was okay.
that's happened to me
Yeah,
before too with Jitsi. I don't know why that is.
Hmm.
it gets overloaded. Its little brain can't handle too much at the same time sometimes, I think. But we got it though after everybody figured out what was happening. At first, I thought I had a spammer going, and
Yeah.
because it just popped up with the lady in one screen and with you in the other, and I got my act together. And there's Greg Rodney. How you doing tonight, Greg?
Pretty good. I think I'm in. Not
Yeah,
sure
you're
about
in.
this laptop.
That's okay. You came in the middle of a video we were streaming, so it might have been a little confusing. And
Yeah,
looks
it kind of
like
kicked me
John
out,
Miller
but
just
I
joined us
got
too.
back in.
Yeah,
How
that
is everybody
happens.
tonight?
Yeah, oh, we're pretty good. We're just getting started. John Miller just joined us. Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, and you?
So far so good.
Hey,
Trying to
And
figure out how what?
Tom just showed us his robotics club activities, and
Oh,
we had
cool.
a little video.
Does that screen sharing?
It's the
So
same thing. Oh, are you
that's just
not yet?
a photo.
It looks
of
like you're coming up. Hang on, give it a minute or a few seconds. I see
okay.
it trying.
I'm trying to share a photo. See if it's working.
With Jitsi, you got to be real patient with the button clicks.
Okay.
But I don't see it yet.
Okay, John. Just before I came in the room here, I finally got around to sending you that email with that file. Did you happen to get it? Did you notice?
I haven't checked my mail,
Okay, it
so
would have been there like 20 minutes ago, so it's just barely there. So
yeah, I've been on a stupid phone. I shouldn't say stupid phone. The phone's stupid. It wasn't a stupid conversation.
ah,
Let's be clear about that.
Yeah. Now it was with Brent, who's usually on the YouTube side. Brent Williams.
Oh yeah, I didn't
We were
realize he
talking
had
about.
I didn't realize Brent had a place in the vendors corner on Stunthangar until I was perusing through it tonight and saw his name. And so
He
does
does.
Greg, by the way.
He's got those really good fancier handles that I like.
Yeah, that's the one. And I saw Greg's vendor site in there too, I think. Have you got
Yeah.
one for South CNC in there, Greg?
Yeah, I do.
What you got in front of you? What kind of wing is that?
Oh, that's that Ringmaster I started here about 2 weeks ago. I'm finally getting back down into it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Glued myself to this goddamn thing 4 times today. About ready to quit.
Uh,
The last time I thought I was going to have to go upstairs, get the wife, and go to the ER. I was really glued to it.
What's worse is when
man.
you say,
That's using
"Oh,
that
I should have thought of
PA,
that."
huh?
Well, it gets pretty bad when you got to decide whether you want to cut the balsa or cut skin.
yeah. Well, it's even worse when you say when you like
Sparky just sent me a
scratch
message.
yourself. So
No, we don't do that.
no.
Not that I haven't thought about it.
No. Yeah, I've been having that kind of day too. I've been working on this latest conversion, and it's just
Oh,
coming to realization I need to throw it away and start over. So
What conversion is that, Denny?
it's for the United, and it's a good basic conversion for the 28 millimeter motor, but everybody's big on the 35 millimeter motors now, so I'm figuring that I better figure out how to make it fit just because. So you get some, get the it'll be more flexible if it'll accept that too.
Yeah.
I did that once before. I did the conversion for the Blue Angel and showed that the big motor would go in there too. And as luck would have it, that airplane's turning out feather light, and it's like it's going to be overpowered no matter what I put in it. So putting a big motor in there, heck, the motor's going to weigh a fourth of what the airplane does. But so I don't know. It's not going to need it, but it's nice to know if it better to have it and not use it, I guess, or something like that.
You can turn the tap down on it if it's light, but you got the tap to turn up if it ain't.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I use the motor to balance the airplane. However big a motor I need to balance the airplane, and then the prop will go, follow afterwards.
Yeah.
But that Blue Angel is not that big an airplane. I always thought it was a huge airplane because it had a Fox 59 in it and everything. Heck, it's just over 600 squares. So.
Yep.
So.
The thing that always puzzled me on that airplane was the way the spar worked on that thing.
Is that picture sharing?
The way the spars?
Yeah. Isn't that the one where it has one spar and then another one glued on the back side and going
Oh,
ways?
no. That's the other one. The Blue Angel is it's just a basic egg crate wing, plank leading edge, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty normal. I know what you're thinking about. The Gray Ghost? Well,
That's it, the Gray Ghost.
Scarinzi's airplanes all had that same spar. It's like he couldn't buy a piece of wood over 12 inches long or something. I don't know.
Knowing what little I know about Scarinzi, I figure he probably had them saved away from other builds.
Let's see. RSM kitted that the Gray Ghost. Do you know if they used the spar arrangement that was in the plans or?
I don't know, but if I'd have drawn it, it would have had more modern spar setup in it.
Oh, you and me both, brother. It would have had a one-piece beam tip to tip, but
Yep.
So anyhow,
Is that photo?
I had to see if John Brodak's interested in doing that All-American Eagle that Gerke's design. I've got it all up in CAD.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever pitch it to him before?
No, I haven't pitched it to him. You have to talk with Gerke to make sure it's okay, but I don't see why he'd have a problem with it.
I can't imagine he would either. And if you were accurate to his plan and everything like that, it's like, what the hell could the problem be? So the only problem I could see is just getting the proper canopy for it. We all use those long, skinny teardrop canopies that you can't buy anymore. So probably have to create a new mold. That would be about it. So.
Well, John's done that before, and some of his he may have something that's be perfect for it already.
Well, the one from the Ellie isn't too far off. That's probably pretty close.
Yeah. How's John doing, by the way?
I don't know. I talked to Jan last week. The one in that's the lady who packs all the kits and everything. She said they don't get a day-to-day on them or anything like that, but she said she heard that they were setting them up at least 5 hours a day. Still got a ventilator tube or whatever, so he can't talk or anything like that. But he apparently is in reasonably good spirits, and he's writing notes back and forth and everything like that. Still hoping to get back in his back home, by springtime and get some flying in and whatever. And so it all sounds good.
It does. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I kind of wouldn't like to pitch it to him until I knew if he was going to be okay. It's kind of one of those things. If I send it in and if what's his name, John? Not John. What's the guy that's doing his CAD work there for him?
John Parker does his laser cutting, and he touches up some of the plans sometimes. I think he takes and works on the sheets and the pattern files and stuff.
That's the guy I was thinking of. I don't know if John Parker would be the guy to send it to at this time. So I just kind of wait until John gets out and let him at least the point where he can look at it and tell John to do what he needs to do.
Well, one possibility would be to talk to Sandy Bruce. You know Sandy?
I've heard the name. I don't think I know her.
Okay, she's his business manager. She's basically babysitting all his businesses right now while he's incapacitated. So she's taking care of all the groceries, the print shop, the model business, and everything. So yeah.
Really? She sent it to Brodak.com.
Yeah, I'll find her email and send it to you. So.
Okay.
Oh, where is it? The kit? Do you have like a manual written for it or anything like that? Or
I don't have a manual written for it. I do have photographs taken of the build. I could put a manual together pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, I've got a good building sequence of going together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be important. I thought when they wrote the manual for the little Ellie, they didn't build the wing correctly, and you know what I mean, I'm sure.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I've got that kit sitting here with it's the hardest wing you'll ever build.
Not quite. Well,
almost.
It is if you build it their way. The way you wrote it down, it's hard, but
yeah.
Oh well.
The only thing got to remember that wing is you don't glue anything until you got it all together.
Well, that's it. And you just build it like an I-beam. And if you haven't built an I-beam, it's going to be the scariest thing that you ever saw. But
yeah.
And hello, Bob. I wrote you a note just before I came on board about my brother having trouble logging in. Did you see that?
No, where'd you write it to?
I sent you a personal message. So I guess I'll be waiting for you next time you get around to it. Okay. I just sent you a PM on Stunthangar. So.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He went to join, and apparently you have some screening questions now for people who log in. And it was like, where is AMA headquarters? And he wrote, Washington, or Renton, Virginia, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't do that.
My brother tried joining.
So I wrote him back, and I told him, no, it's Muncie, and everything goes, oh crap, I knew that. And so he tried to get back on later on, and he's been having some kind of an issue there after that. I don't know if he threw up a roadblock and it didn't clear or something like that. But
not there to get stuff. But there's one problem.
Anyhow.
Remember?
What is his username? Dave Animation?
You only needed one.
I'm sorry again.
What is his username?
Dave Admission.
Okay, and you want me to change it to this other email, right?
Change the email to, I don't know how it's got my email address in there. I don't know if you like copied the file over or whatever, but yeah, if you need to like send them a new password or something like that, you better send it to that other email address. That's all.
Let's see.
Mhm.
Member map. Separate.
Anyhow, would appreciate all that. Oh man.
Where'd everybody go?
It's looking awfully good there, Greg.
Sparky, did you get the PM from me?
No, when?
I gotta find.
Sent it out this last week.
About? What was it about?
Trying to get into my old account. I couldn't remember my password, and I wound up opening this account up, and nobody can find me on this account. So I wanted to get back on the old one.
We got Dave and who's squeaking?
What's that?
Ain't me.
I don't know. I can mute them one at a time and see. Hang on.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
what I got here is Dave Adam at Wawa.
Huawei at Huawei.com.
WOWWA.com. Is that his email address?
That's his email. Dave Adam at Huawei.com.
Okay.
Since I said that out loud, do we have to shoot everybody else on the forum now or something?
Yeah.
What?
Who is squeaking?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
I don't know who the feedback's coming from. I'm trying to find out right now. First, I'm going to mute Tom.
Probably me.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself right now.
That's not Tom. Yeah, the controls are not working very easily tonight. There we go. It's not Tom, but that much I know. Now I'll try Greg.
Test 1, 2, 3.
It doesn't. Okay, I got Greg muted right now.
Is it working or is it still happening?
I think it's working. I don't hear any feedback at all.
I sit here a lot. Maybe it's me.
Maybe. It's clear right now, though, with Greg muted. Let me turn Greg back up and see what happens. It takes forever for the control to react.
Test
Okay, Greg,
1,
back
2,
up.
3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Is it my end?
Might be. It cleared up when I muted you. I'm going to mute John right now. Okay. John's muted.
Testing,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Why can't I send an email here?
I don't hear any difference when I mute John.
Okay.
Have you got your speakers turned up really loud, Greg?
No, but I'm using the microphone that's in the laptop.
That's him. That's who's doing it.
Let me try something. Mute me for right now.
Stand by. It takes a minute to do what I tell it. All right, now you're muted.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was that microphone there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a thumbs up, Greg, when you're ready for me to turn you back on.
Will do.
Well, that was odd. Okay.
So Rusty, I hear you broke the tail of my airplane.
Oh my gosh, you heard about it. Who told you? Who busted me? Yeah, here it is.
I watched the.
Can you see that? I don't know if I'm getting the big screen or not, but yeah, my little new puppy ate the tail off of your plane. I don't know why he picked yours. Mr. October got his tail chewed off. Sorry about that.
Oh well.
I feel awful. He gets loose in the mornings when he's real energetic, and he'll come hunting for bedroom slippers. But if we hide everything from him, he'll get the next best thing, which obviously was your picture a couple of days ago.
That's better than biting the tail off of a real airplane or a model airplane.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's better than that's better than backing over an airplane with your car. It's been done.
Ooh.
That's what I'm always scared to death I'm going to do up at Huntersville when I park up there by the picnic tables to unload. I'm scared I'm going to crush somebody's plane. Hey, Gerald Wimmer just hit us with a super chat. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your donations. I'll make it official and type you a thanks.
Yeah, damn. I reached out your brother's password. Okay, now. Okay, username, messages, read your messages. John Miller. I always check that. What's your username?
We're still getting chirping and pooping in the background.
It's John Miller. The one I've been using recently is John A. Miller.
Okay.
And the one I want to go back to using is the John Miller one.
Okay. There we go.
Testing one.
What you trying to do, Sparky?
Change John Miller's password.
Okay, we got you now. I heard that, Greg.
All right, let me move this away from my speakers, see what that does. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you loud and clear. I've got one of those little boom mics like that. I never could get it to work real well, but it was really old.
Got that one off Amazon. It was $19. I figured I'd try it.
For $19, it ought to work. Yeah, we got pretty clear audio right now, so we'll go with what we got.
All right. So Sparky, I can't see. Do you got ink lines on there?
Anybody got any show and tell?
He was talking. Hey. What now, Dennis?
Say what?
I didn't hear any talking.
Okay, never mind. I can't now. Everybody talks at once. Personal message.
Nobody was talking but Denny when you said that.
Yeah, I was just asking if you got to the ink lines yet. I can't tell. It looks like you have some outlines on the gold panels.
Okay, John, is your email a good email?
Yeah.
You should get an email giving you the password to that other thing, which is a pretty easy password. Change it.
Okay. Thanks, Marky. I appreciate it. Your planes look pretty nice.
What I have done is outlines on the around the radiators. I have the cowl line. I showed it all on the movies. I just did these patches tonight. Your microphone appears to be noisy. Huh. Here's it now. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it tells me that all the time too.
Anyway, I put the black combing on the cockpit. I'm back to this other thing now. I can't see what's going on. Anyway, let's see if I can do this. No, I can't do that. All right. So I haven't done much. I started sanding it with 2000, but I don't have enough clear on it, so I gotta wait till this weekend to get some more clear on it. I'll put some more ink lines on the flaps and the elevator, you know, just some detail. I'm just detailing now.
Are you gonna put the lines on the radiator? You know, that had that. No. Okay. That might be too much.
Yeah, be way too much. I did it on my other one I did, but we're not gonna go for it on this one. Be the last
Too much weight.
be the last time I paint gold on an airplane though. I think I would
Well,
have
Sparky. Sparky. He's gonna put enough ink lines on that till he can weigh them. Then he's gonna stop. So when that ink tips the scale, it's all over, baby.
it weighs 41 ounces now.
Cool.
That's awesome.
It's
fly just fine.
pretty heavy, but it's still pretty nose heavy, so I can add some more. If you look at the Rusty, display this to everybody, because I'm looking at something else.
There you go.
Well, maybe.
Let's try it anyway. There you go.
Okay, if you watch this, this is about
Yeah.
where it should balance here, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And if I let it go, it's pretty pronounced. So it could take, it could take some more weight, but I don't want to put that much weight on it.
No.
It'd be a pretty nice classic airplane. Well, guys, it's my
First fly well, and that weight is gonna fly.
Well, we'll see. It's my bedtime, guys. I'll see you later. I just come in to see what was happening.
Okay.
Sleep well.
Well, thanks for helping
Thanks.
out. Thanks for helping out my brother.
No problem.
And me.
You're welcome. You guys, bye.
I am having just a little bit of
All
trouble
right.
with
What
the
y'all,
screen
what y'all
refresh
got
here.
for us tonight?
I'm sorry, Rusty, say again, please.
Nothing. We had a little silent for a minute, so I just said, "Okay, guys, what y'all got for us tonight? Any other show and tells or adventures?"
I have tried 3 consecutive days to get to work on an airplane, and I have had 3 consecutive days of something else happening. So it's becoming quite an adventure to see
sounds
if I'll ever
familiar
get
to me,
anything done
too.
again.
I went to Harbor Freight when I was in Salt Lake and picked up one of those
I think we're going to have good weather
LED
tomorrow. I might have to
fluorescent
venture
bulb
out to the
type
shop.
things, the real bright ones. And
I
I
did some
haven't got
work
it
out
hooked
there
up yet.
last week. I actually got my little chop saw mounted to my work table, so it's convenient for me to use instead of having to go get it off the shelf every time I want to cut a screw or a piece of tube or something like that. And that's a pretty cool little thing. It's a cheap Harbor Freight one. I tried buying one of the cheaper eBay ones, those little black and yellow, or some of them are black and red chop saws with the 2-inch blade. And the one from eBay even listed a lower RPM on the box. Other than that, it was a direct knockoff, and it wouldn't run at all. And it burned up. I usually try to do a run in, and get the motor working and limbered up, and it burned up while I was doing that with no load on it. So I chucked it, got a refund, and went to Harbor Freight and got the real thing. And it works good. It was too tight. The belt was so tight, I had to loosen it up, but it works fine after I did that. And I got some 3-inch of those composite blades that are on cutoff wheels, and they work great. I just had to make a bigger blade guard for it because it's too big to fit inside the guard. Uh, Turned the 2-inch. They guarded the 2-inch blade, but yeah, it cuts 440 screws and brass tube and does a great job. I've always wanted one. Finally got around to getting it last winter, and now I got it on the table, mounted up where I can use it.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
Yeah, I love power tools. I always call it a good day anytime I get to work with power tools.
Never have enough tools.
I wish I could get some of those. I wish I could get some of those 2-inch composite blades, but apparently nobody makes them smaller than 3. The little steel blade that came with it is just useless.
Yeah, the Dremel blades, no, they're only about 1.5 inches though, aren't they?
That's about
Probably too
right.
small
Yeah,
for what you're
and
looking for.
the arbor doesn't fit
Yeah.
either. It's a 3/8 inch arbor, I think. I think I'm using the right terminology. But since I built a blade guard to protect me from putting my fingers in it, which I definitely need that protection, it's working pretty good. I don't think it's overloading the motor too much. You just have to go slow and back off and kind of come back and forth on it. And I wouldn't lean into it.
Well, heck,
I've never
it's not
seen
really
one.
a blade, right? It's more like a stone. So
That's right.
without the guard,
Yeah, it's some kind of
it'll just kind of it'll just polish your fingernails in, right, or something like
That's
that.
about what. Yeah, I've hit it a couple of times with my knuckles, and it didn't draw blood. But I'm asking for trouble if I don't put some kind of guard on it.
Yeah, yeah,
I need all the protection I can get.
that's it.
I'm more clumsy than I used to be, and I don't have any feeling in my fingers, so I don't always know when I'm getting bit.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Hey, I can't even do it. I can't even flip anybody to bird anymore. That's as close as
Oh
I could
man.
come. So
I got the same
I can
problem.
shake my fist at them though.
They
Get off
asked
of
me
my
when
lawn.
I got in the hospital after I got electrocuted.
Yeah,
You know,
speaking of
wanting to know
that,
how far they
reminded me
had to
this
go. They said,
weekend when my son turned 35 yesterday. Actually, I reminded him that he's officially now middle aged. I don't know how long. Everybody wanted to know how long middle age lasts, but since his wife is 10 years older than he is, I figured I'd give him about 15. So
Yeah.
I gave him till 50. You can apply for your geezer card when you turn 60, I think. Mine's in the mail now.
Rusty, I think John was just trying to talk and you were talking at the same time as if you didn't hear him. Are you hearing John Miller at all?
hello,
John, say
Say
something.
testing 1, 2, 3, John.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't hear him
Rusty?
talking.
I can hear him.
I can hear John and Rusty.
I don't hear anything. Maybe I got him singly muted over here. I do. I'm sorry. Let's see if that fixes it.
That's why Rusty was
Okay,
talking
control
over you,
tape.
John.
Yeah. No
I'm
wonder.
sorry.
I get go along and
I
I hear
still
him
can't
there
get him to turn up.
like that.
Okay,
You were
you
talking
still
about not being able to flip anybody off.
There we go. Now,
When I got
now I got
electrocuted,
you.
I was in the hospital, and the doctor says, "Well, how much work do we need to do on your fingers?" I said, "I just got to be able to flip somebody off." And they
well,
laughed at, but I can't either, And this one I can. So they figured 50% was success.
I don't know. Just go back to Blazing Saddles and the Waco Kid, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You see? Well,
yeah.
it looks steady as a rock. Yeah, but this is
Well, I would like to do this one.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Or even this one.
Yeah.
Oh well.
One of the things I was trying to say, Rusty, was that I went to Harbor Freight this last week. And went down there. They've got these. I'm sure you all know it. They've got these. They look like tubes for your neon light fixture. Actually, a whole fixture, but it has LEDs in it. It's real bright. And a lot of guys are using them now in their. They've gone to them in their workshops. They're really happy with it because it gives a really good light to work by. Anyway, I bought one of those. And now that I can get it hooked up, I'll actually finally be able to finish off my workshop and maybe start building again. I haven't been able to build or repair anything for about 7 years.
That'd be good to get that back. Then you can recover that green airplane then too, right? Oh.
No, all I got's green yet.
Yeah. I had to laugh. I was watching some of the new football league, the XFL. Did you guys catch them over the weekend?
No.
No, there's one of the teams, and of course, new uniforms and stuff. Most of them are a little overdone. The one that's really overdone is the Tampa Bay team, lime green helmets and yellow and everything like that. They look like University of Oregon in a nightmare or something like that. And you look at it and say, "Hey, I haven't seen that before." And then you immediately followed by, "Yeah, there's probably a reason why I never saw that before." Anyhow,
Yeah, green's a tough color. It's got to be in the right place to look good. I
yeah,
can't stand green cars, green clothes.
yeah. My first car was a lime green Mustang, so always had a warm
Oh
spot for
wow.
that. So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Well, there is a worse color, and that's brown. And my first car was a brown '67
mm-hmm,
Chevy 2 Super Sport.
mm-hmm.
My first car was lemon yellow.
All right.
What kind of car was it?
A Studebaker.
Wow.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
My first
V8.
car was a V28 Camaro, blue.
Hmm.
My Studebaker was a sleeper. It had a V8 in it, overhead valve V8 in it. When I took it to school the first day, all these kids with their 51, 52, 53 Chevys wanted to drag race me. And after I blew them all off, they'd never been blown off by a Studebaker before. They couldn't race any of the 54s or 55s, but they couldn't keep up with them. Uh, and at that time, I didn't race them either because I know I couldn't keep up with them. But of the older cars, like back in a 51 Oldsmobile could do me real harm. That I couldn't pass him. But anything else in the 50s and that I had no problem with. And it was kind of an unknown fact about
Oldsmobile,
that with Studebakers, that V8 Commander was a sleeper.
Oldsmobile built some early high performance stuff too. So yeah, it's no surprise that that one gave you a tough time.
Yeah, it did.
Who said they had a Z28?
That
That
was
was
me.
Tom.
Tom, oh, what year was it?
1973.
Okay,
Good one.
I had a '69. No, mine wasn't a Z28. It was a Camaro SS '69, and it was orange. I had a pair of '67s also.
I still have it.
Oh, really?
It's got,
So that's a 302 in that Z28.
it has 59,000 miles on it.
It's got a
73,
302 engine in it.
350.
Oh, okay. All of mine were 350s also. Oh, Jeff Riley said his first one, let's see, what is he saying, was a VW Baja Bug, and it was the color of a calico cat. Probably a lot of primer colors mixed in with that.
Yeah.
Primer calico.
It was a VW Rat Rod.
Hmm.
Yeah. I've been watching a show on TV lately. I've been recording them, and it's called Junkyard Empire. And this guy builds all kind of stuff. He buys wrecks and turns some of them into to hot rods, and that's a pretty good show if y'all want to tune in. It's on the Motor Trend channel, but it doesn't have too much bleeping, which gets irritating to me on some shows. And they built some pretty cool looking stuff. I was going somewhere with that, but I forgot where it was. So tune in and watch.
Denny, how'd you unmute me? How'd you mute me?
I don't know, just messing around here.
By accident.
Man, I don't know.
I had muted you by accident when I was trying to find out where the feedback chatter was coming from.
No,
It's
it
pretty
said
much
I've
cleared up.
been muted by Denny A, and that fits Denny.
Oh,
Yeah, I did that because it looked like you were having a side conversation and
Oh, thanks.
didn't
No,
want to interfere or anything like that or intrude. But
That's my render guy. He needed a blank disc.
Okay. Anyhow, sorry to say I haven't been messing around with some ideas and stuff, but not turning anything into aviation, shall we say? So.
Well, I had a long talk with Curtis. Part of what we talked about was I'm kind of looking at getting deeper into non-flap stunt ships, and he was telling me some of his experiences with them and how he had in his determinations, he felt that a relatively long uh, hinge line between the rear, the back of the wing and the hinge line of the stab and elevator, and a, a relatively smaller, though not it would turn out it wasn't smaller, stab and airfoil, stab and air elevator uh, would give you a little bit of drag back in the back because they're more draggy than a high aspect ratio one.
Mhm.
And he built one, and he called it Splat, being a takeoff from the impact. So his
Hmm.
was the Splat.
Uh,
Anyway, and he was flying, and he said flew good. Dude did some nice stuff, and then he splatted it, so it no longer it still exists, but
it
it's
lived up to
been
its name
splatted.
then, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
true to its name. But he gave me some good ideas to play around with as far as non-flap stunners. So looking forward
That's
to
good. That's good.
getting the shop going.
What do
So how
they
about you,
call that?
Danny?
Re-kitting?
Yeah.
Yeah, splatting is re-kitting. Yeah,
Hell, that's why they make monocoats, so you can carry all the parts home in a nice plastic bag, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
You
So
know,
and
though, I'll tell you truthfully, I think if we want, we also talked about this. Curtis and I, or not Curtis, Brett and I talked a lot about some various different subjects. And it was interesting that he felt that the complexity of our builds might be holding a lot of people from getting in the hobby, and that it was very possible that if we came up with a good entry level capable plane that was easily built and easily finished, might be more conducive to growing the hobby than the way we're doing.
mhm.
He thinks a lot, and I think he's on the right trail. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
advocating foam wings that are tough, that have got a carbon veil put on it, simply, not necessarily using epoxy, but just easily constructed and strong so that it can survive the perils and rigors of splatting. Might be something we might not or might ought to think about as we progress through trying to figure out ways to bring more people into the hobby.
Mhm. Did he stop short of saying we need more ARFs?
He didn't. I don't think he's that big a favor of ours. No.
Well, I know he's never has been in the past or anything like that. That's why but it sounds like he's at least opening the door to a deeper level of prefabrication and stuff like that. And where do you draw the line? But
Yeah. Well, he was looking at when the fabrication was a foam wing,
mm,
with a wood fuselage and possibly foam cord or just balsa built up stab and elevator. Uh, Coring the wing only enough to be able to bring the lead outs out and put a belt crank in there, and using the crushability of the foam itself to help preserve the airplane in a bad circumstance.
sounds the what's his name, Phil Cartier's airplanes. I think he's
Oh
on
yeah,
the right track there. He's like bridged the gap between the foamy combat planes and stunt planes, and his rugged stunt trainer. Other airplanes of that ilk, they fly very well and they take a pretty good beating. So, and
well actually,
you can replace big pieces of it if you have to, pretty easily. So,
yeah,
We
that's
have,
kind of what
we,
he actually mentioned. Cartier's airplanes.
yeah.
we have up to 2,000 kids some years fly at Oshkosh control line, and
Hmm.
those planes are Corplast, that it's like
Yeah.
plastic cardboard,
Okay.
and a little 061 engine.
Yeah, I was flying. Some of the slope flooring guys were using something called EPP foam. It looks like styrofoam bead, but it's crushable. All right. It's like the stuff they make swimming pool noodles out of and things like that.
Yeah,
You can find it in
yeah.
some computer packing and stuff. And you could take those. You can build an airplane out of that. Basically, just plastic coat over the top of it. Maybe put a spar in it, and ends up with a very tough, durable airframe. So.
I,
That kind
I
of foam
think
comes
for
in handy for all sorts of stuff around the workshop.
Mm.
I use it to stick all of my knives and sharp pointed tools in, and it works great for that. Or it's good for
Mhm.
shimming wide gaps in a jig or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I use it to safety my batteries into place in the battery box. I have the box usually accessed on the inboard side, so it really the only time it can fall out of the airplane is when I'm carrying it to the circle or something like that. I'll
Yeah.
put a piece of that foam in there, just compressed a little bit, and it'll hold the battery, keep it from rattling around and stuff like that. Not going to go anywhere. It's a lot easier than strapping it in, and frankly more certain, more sure, I think.
So that's called EPP. Is that what you said? EPP.
Yeah. EPP. Don't ask me what it stands for.
Expanded polypropylene.
See, there's an expert. All you have to do, you're 2 phone calls away from any piece of information you need, right? Or 1 teleconference. Way to go, Tom.
Right.
Well, Tom, have you built any EPP airplanes or anything like that?
I do have a remote control plane that's EPP.
Mm-hmm.
Just one. It doesn't fly that great, but they're pretty heavy.
It can be.
The only remote control plane I've ever flown, I flew one time, was EPP. Is squishy, so it didn't break anything when you hit the ground. And it had a mid engine. It was the engine and prop were mounted in the middle, so they were safe from nose end crashes too. So I did pretty good with it, though. I flew it all the way across the runway, turned around and flew it all the way back, and was turning around to fly back across again when I got mixed up trying to give it up elevator or left rudder while I turned right, so that, or whatever you have to do to keep them from coming down. And I nosed it in, but hey, that was pretty good for a first flight.
Yeah, really. Well, the slope soaring guys use it because a lot of times they're flying on, like on this side of a mountain or something like that, and their landing sites are kind of rough and whatever. And as Tom mentioned, it doesn't necessarily lend itself to building a light airplane. There we go. And so, if a little bit of extra weight doesn't hurt a slope soarer at all. So, but they'll put up with that.
Rosie, bring
That
Tom's
looks
up
like so
full
much
size.
fun, slope soaring.
All right.
Bring Tom's up full size, would you?
What's so, John?
Bring Tom's picture up full size.
Just click on it yourself, John. You can do that yourself.
Oh, I didn't know I could do that.
Well, yeah,
That's cute.
well, I don't even know what he was asking.
Well, that looks like, I can see why it doesn't fly well, but it should fly okay.
What you wanted to look at. I'm sorry.
It's just a little heavy.
There, now everybody's got it big.
Huh. That phone was just folded over to. Huh. Well, there's a problem. Doesn't have a symmetrical airfoil. Well, that's cuter than heck. Huh? Yeah.
I'm sorry, John. I couldn't understand that you were telling me to click on him so you could see it. He wasn't even on my screen at the time.
That's all right. What the heck is Greg building now?
I don't know that
I'm still
that
working on that ringmaster wing.
all I know, John, is he's doing more building than you and me combined. So
In a
But
week?
all of us combined.
Well, I gotta tell you guys, it's been a week since I've had a cigarette, so the wife prefers I stay down here.
Oh, okay.
So does the
Take it out
dog.
on us, huh?
oh my.
Not saying I'm not sociable.
Well, since I've been coming to these hangouts, at least we watched Tom, his weekly progress on his twin. That you probably didn't get the fly before the snow, did you?
No.
It's ready to go, though, isn't it? Or pretty close.
Yeah. There's some graphics that could be added to it, but
Yeah.
it's flyable.
Yeah.
But we had -4 degrees on Saturday, and today it's 8 degrees, so it's cold out there.
And now you got to build a new tail for your Polaris since my puppy ate the one off of you.
Yeah.
Well, the robotics team is supposed to compete this Saturday, upcoming Saturday. The robot's not totally done yet, and we're a little bit behind because there was 1 week, the second weekend after the announcement, we had a blizzard, and so they canceled that whole Saturday. So we had one less Saturday to build the robot.
Mm-hmm.
But they're working hard
I'll
trying
take
to.
it.
We have just evenings this week to get it done before Saturday. Then we leave at 7 in the morning to go to the competition Saturday morning.
Well, I wish y'all the best of luck.
It's a practice competition, so it doesn't count as anything, but it's good practice for the driver and good experience for the kids. So
Sure.
Yeah, they'll get to learn to work under pressure and troubleshoot and tune. So yeah, that'll be a good learning experience.
Yep.
yeah. The shooter's working pretty good now.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to ask you about that. I saw it go all the way through the back hole at least once.
Yeah, if you get it through the hex, the bigger hole, then it's 2 points, and if you get it through the hex and the small hole in the back, then it's 3 points. So it's an extra point if it goes through that small hole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh darn! That's not as much as I would have thought. That back hole looks like it's pretty hard to hit.
Yeah, it was a pretty healthy throw. Looked like it traveled a fair distance horizontally on path to do that. So
Yeah, we made it so it puts a backspin on the ball, so it travels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're using a brushless motor to drive the shooter mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
Brushless motors for the drivetrain.
How are you putting a backspin on that ball?
We're using a 4-inch roller or a cylinder that's rubber coated, and then we have a curved shooter a curved hood, and so when the ball goes into that spinning cylinder, puts that backspin on the ball.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. The center sheeting's going on over at Greg's now. Got to make sure everything's right.
For the competition, there are 3 robots on one side or one team, and 3 robots on the other team, and they compete on this field where there's a goal at each end that's for the opposite team. And Then at the beginning of the match, they call it autonomous mode. That's where the robot's just controlled by a program, and it has to try and shoot balls in the goal on its own. Those count higher points than when it's controlled by the kids. And then at the end of the match, at the very end, there's a horizontal bar that's on a pivot, and two robots are supposed to grab that bar. And if the two robots can and lift themselves off the floor, and if they can hang their balance, then that's an extra 15 points at the end. So we haven't tested they call it the climbing mechanism, where the robot climbs onto that bar. And we haven't tested that out yet. We've got it designed and partially on the robot, but they have to finish that up this week.
If it isn't completely finished this week, you say it's a practice meet. If it isn't completely finished, can they go in and just test out what is operational? Or
Yes.
Okay. So that's good then.
Right. Yeah. Then we have 2 weeks after that to finish up anything before the actual competition.
Mm. Okay, sounds good. Sounds like a lot of quality time there too. God bless you for working with those kids like that. That's great.
I get about 100 hours of volunteer work in every year on the robotics team.
Wow, that's pretty doggone. And that's basically a Saturday at a time plus whatever you're doing on weeknights then, right? So,
right.
That's a lot of days.
There 2 weeknights a week, and then every Saturday for 8 hours every Saturday. And then during the competition, I'm there 3 solid days, the whole time during the competition.
That's great.
It's a great experience for the kids. They learn so much doing this. And they can get scholarships. They can apply for scholarships and things for college. It's a pretty good program.
Yeah.
And they always emphasize gracious professionalism. So I tell people it's not at all like BattleBots. You're not beating each other up. They cooperate. They help each other, help other teams, and it's very professional, very safe. Safety is emphasized, so it's a really good program.
That's the first thing out of everybody's mouth, and I want to know if it's BattleBot. I remember I even asked if that's what it was.
Yeah, I asked too, but
it's FIRST, FIRST, FIRST Robotics.
These robots themselves, they have like a target weight for them that they do not exceed or anything like that.
Yes, they can't be over 125 pounds.
Wow. So there's a lot of power and to keep that moving, lift itself up and everything like that. There's a lot of power in the game there.
Yes, and we have 9 brushless motors on our robot this year. 2 pneumatic cylinders, an air compressor. It's pretty sophisticated, computer controlled and remotely controlled through a router, wireless router.
Control really with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth?
It uses Wi-Fi.
Wow. Okay, I guess that's a little surprise there. I guess I would have thought it was just basically an RC system or something like that driving it. But
the reason they don't use RC is because because of the RF transmission, and the field where you're competing needs to have control of all of the robots for safety. And so all 6 robots are enabled at the same time with the Wi-Fi. And then at the end of the match, all 6 robots are shut off at the same time with the Wi-Fi. So that's kind of why it's controlled with Wi-Fi.
Tom,
Yeah,
did you get a chance to look at that those drawings I sent you?
I did, and that looks good. I started working on some wingtips, but I haven't gotten real far. I've been pretty busy with the robotics team, so I haven't had a lot of time to do anything.
I understand. I'm curious of which airfoil you chose.
The first one.
The 4-digit NACA 4-digit 0018.
I don't know for sure. It was the first file that I opened.
Oh, okay. I don't know whether you opened the first one I sent or the last one. You see what the idea was there, though, with all those different center lines and variations of things that where you could place things, kind of leaving it up to you, giving you some ideas, but leaving it up to you what you wanted to do.
Sure, yeah. So are we all
forward to seeing you.
Are we all supposed to build one and then compete?
Everybody that wants to can. Just don't have it chucking balls at the other planes. You guys, excuse me for a minute. My dog wants to go outside. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Greg. It looks like he's putting the center sheeting on now. You gotta make sure everything's right because you'll never get to see it again. Hopefully.
I don't know why I do such a wonderful job on these. They don't last long with me flying. At least I look good all the way to the scene of the crash.
What's the rack behind you for?
I also do CNC carved signs, and that rack, get out of the picture, it holds all my sign blanks.
Okay.
Let me go grab one. I got a couple up there, scrap. I'll show you.
There's just so many tools available now that we never used to have or anything like that. Just so many capabilities just never had before. Between laser cutting and CNC.
CNC laser cutters that cut ribs
Yeah.
off.
Well, that's it. There's that one machine that it'll laser cut, it'll do the CNC milling, and it's something else too. And we got our Great White North is here. Hello, Lenny.
Hello, guys. How are we doing?
Fantastic.
We're all right.
I'm interested in the topic I'm interested in the topic you guys are talking about, and maybe you can give me some information on vinyl cutters. What do you know about them?
Oh, if you can make that out, try. There we go.
Okay.
That's all carbon.
You
No,
said
I
that
painted
was a scrap then, or something?
Yeah, that was bags. There was a void in the plywood.
Oh man.
Here's one that's ready to paint.
Uh-huh. That's fantastic.
I got a whole bunch of the Harry Potter stuff I do. That supplies me with mad money to keep making airplanes and wrecking them.
Mm-hmm.
Dad can probably answer Lynn's question about vinyl cutting. Charles could.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Well, if he comes on, we'll talk to We'll talk. We'll ask him.
Sparky has a vinyl cutter.
Unfortunately, he's already gone for the night. So
Looks like we lost Len too.
and looks like he's coming back. So
Yeah, Lynn kind of does that. Sometimes he has to run without his camera to stay on.
Sorry, I missed that.
It just says Sparky has a vinyl cutter.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about them, but I know that we do a lot of iron-on covering. It would be so much easier to do the trim on the airplane if we had a vinyl cutter that would cut the decals out.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I know places where you can order, vinyl cut letters and stuff like that. I don't have a cutter myself. I usually go to Charles Aviajet on the screen
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Charles, I can't remember his
that's
last
right.
name, but he does a wonderful job with lettering, and you can even do like trim stripes or
Oh, that's awesome.
designs and stuff. Basically, if you can draw it up, he can cut it. So,
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
but obviously you need to get a hold of him, directly. But he
Right.
should be able to fix you up with anything you need like that.
Okay.
I PM'd him after he was
I'm just wondering if I wanted
on
to
here.
do my own, how much of an investment we're talking here.
I don't know. I think it's a couple of $100 anyway.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
It
it's
can't
not.
be too terribly expensive.
I mean, it would just be so much easier if we could just have the computer set up so that we can figure out what we want and just run it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can use the same basic equipment to cut out paint mask too.
Right. Okay.
So even the guys, even if you're going to paint something, you could use the same basic setup, cut the material, and you got your patterns there, which has got
That's
to be a
awesome.
big, that's got to be a big time saver too. So
Most definitely, because I find when you build as many airplanes as we do, it's really frustrating to have to sit there cutting out trim sheet and stuff like this and hand doing everything. What a pain in the butt.
Yep, absolutely.
You
So
do
if we
have to
can,
be you do have to be careful because some of the vinyl cutters only allow like certain characters or they need a cartridge or something.
Yeah.
okay,
So make sure you check into getting one that will interface to your computer if that's the kind of thing you want to do.
okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Sparky about it and see what he has to say.
Yep. Good start.
He'll have some info on it for sure.
Yeah, you should be able to get you pointed the right way. And I think seems to me there's been a couple of discussions on Stunthangar about there where people have talked about what they bought and what to avoid and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I know Richard Imhoff, he does it too. And I noticed on some of his airplanes, the stuff looks really good. Like he does a lot of iron-on covering, but his graphics and stuff, they're cut out. They're just beautiful, and you just stick them on, and they're done. So I'm interested in it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them. It definitely make you lazy for doing it the old-fashioned way. So.
Well, I'm just getting tired of doing it the old-fashioned way, not lazy. I'm tired of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We were cutting out stripes for Naomi's airplane today, and I thought, boy, this would be so much easier if I had a cutter and could just have this done in a short period of time and have it look professional.
Was she building a Shark 402, was it?
Yep, Shark 402, and she's rebuilding a Vector that she got from a friend of ours.
Okay. Good. So she's busy.
Yeah, so we're busy, no doubt about it. And I'm still working on my Cardinal. I've got the wing drying in the kitchen here because I put the fiberglass the center joint of the foam wing. But my shop's pretty cool downstairs, so I had to bring it upstairs to get it to dry a little quicker.
Yep. Understood. Good idea.
The basement gets a little cool at night.
Okay, you fiberglass. Did you use like glass tape and epoxy on the center joint, or?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I use.
Okay.
Just glass. Like I have lots of glass. I just cut it myself 1 inch wide or whatever, inch and a half. Laid it
Mhm.
down the center of the wing, and then just I use the 20-minute cure epoxy, and it's very liquidy, and it soaks in real good.
Mhm. Yeah, the reason I asked, I've been seeing a lot of people are saying that they don't even tape the center of a foam wing anymore.
Oh, really? What do they do?
Well, some of them are like just covering the airplane wingtip with the wingtip before they put it in the fuselage, and that's it. And some people
Okay.
are using a couple of layers of polyspan in the center, but not fiberglass.
Oh, wow.
And to me, I obviously these people know what the results
Oh, for
say that they
sure.
know what they're doing and everything like that. But it's like it just
I'd
scares the
be I'd
crap
be
out of me.
leery. Yeah, I'm like
Yeah,
you. I'd be leery of it. I'd be afraid of it folding in the wing over on a windy day.
yeah, that's it. But I guess you come right down to it. All you're really trying to do is get a continuity in the 1/16 sheet or whatever it is, the skin from one,
Right.
jumping the gap. And it probably doesn't take, I'm sure I've overdone it on some of my airplanes. It
Oh,
probably
I'm sure
doesn't
I
take
have
that
too.
much. But
No.
I
Like
used to
I've never
do,
had.
yeah, I never had one fail, which is a
No,
good
either have
thing.
I. No, either have
Uh,
I.
but I'm also famous for building really, really heavy airplanes. So
Me
that
too.
might be one of the contributors. So
Yeah, exactly.
what I used to like to do is uh, I wouldn't tape the wing until it was inside the fuselage, but I would tape it and let the tape run up the fuselage side. So it was reinforcing the
Okay.
whole joint.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Okay.
yeah, which of course made it that much heavier, I guess.
Sure it did.
But
No doubt about
but
it.
but everything about it was just locked in.
No, for sure.
So
Now I'll tell you, I had a Magnum that I made into a profile, like a
uh-huh.
Magnum wing. Now it's a pretty long wing. It's a 60
Yeah.
inch span or so.
Yeah.
And all I had at the center section was a 3/4 wide piece of glass and epoxy, and then
Mhm.
glued it into the 1/2 inch fuselage. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you, that airplane lasted for over 15 years, and it never folded or anything else.
Yeah, I always tried to get at least 2 inches and three if I could find it. I was just crazy. So
Yeah. But I always remember that old Magnum wing, and I think to myself, I can't believe it never folded, and it never did.
yeah. Yeah. I got a question for you. You're flying. I've seen in the past you've had a couple of profile airplanes. Do you normally your profile airplanes are they like 40 size and smaller? Do you fly big airplanes like 60 size profiles?
The only one I've ever had was that Magnum. All the other ones that I normally fly are 46 size. I normally just fly a 46 Windy Cardinal. That's all I ever
Mm-hmm.
fly in profile.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious because I
And
keep seeing people are building these
they've been good.
profile Tiger
That's a very
60s.
good airplane.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
people are doing that, but I've never.
Mm-hmm.
I have one started. I have an airplane started for a 60 size, but I've never finished it. I guess I
Yeah.
didn't need it bad enough.
Mm-hmm. That's
It's
it.
down there. I've got the fuselage, I've got the wing, I've got everything down in the basement, but I've never finished it because I guess I just don't need it enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I've got one of those new Brodak kits for the Spirit of Saginaw 3 or
Yeah.
2. Where is That's a nice looking airplane. I mean, I do the plans, so I've been kind of enamored with it for quite a while. And that's probably one of the first products I'll have on the board down in the basement when I get the shop finished up.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called?
Spirit of Saginaw,
Okay, I know the
number
one.
2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a pretty good flyer.
It is. Or I should say it was. I remember Dick Cassini, the designer. I think he was living around Jack Sheik's at the time, and Jack helped him with the design and all that kind of stuff. They really put together a gorgeous airplane. And I remember the original flying with a OS Max 35S, and it flew fantastic. It looked really good. He had the fake jet pods on the side and stuff, which on the profile really stiffened up the nose and the tail. They stuck past the wing on either side, and it probably contributed to the fact that it flew so well. But
Yeah. Plus, it's just darn good looking.
a darn good looking airplane. Yep.
Okay.
There's in Stunthangar. There's a little thread on it. Dick Cassini's the guy that designed it. He's saying, "Hey, or feeling proud or something like that." It was a cute little thread.
Crow a bit.
Yeah.
Want to crow a little.
And if you go to the Brodak website, there's a picture of it there too. But it's a good looking airplane, and it flies well too. So
Yeah. I've got an OF-35S, but I was going to put that on an Excalibur that I'm going to build, and so I've been negotiating for another engine to use on that Spirit of Saginaw. If it all goes well, I think it'll be a good engine for that airplane, and hopefully I won't build it too heavy. I'm not sure I like the tan color that he had his in. Though having never seen it in person, I don't know. You saw it in person, Denny. What did you think of the color of the fuselage and the wing?
what of the Spirit? The Spirit of Saginaw?
Yeah.
I remember it being the basic red, white, and blue kind of look. I don't know where the pictures that are there may have been the red, or something may have faded a little bit or something like that. It may have been like gold signing through or something, but it was a basic. Well, it was a 1970s class jet stunt plane. Like all the other red, white, and blue jets.
Yeah.
Everybody else is building.
Well, the picture on the picture that I've seen of it, it's got either a Diana cream or something like that, fuselage and wing, with some red, and I forget. There's a third color. I forget what it was.
Yeah. I'm gonna go take a peek at it right now while we're talking about it, and see if I can find it there.
I think Brodak just released the kit, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. I think what I'm seeing here is the airplane was white, but I think it's yellowed, if you know what I mean. That's why it looks brown. I think it was white with red and blue.
Pictures that he sent me from the period, it was that brownish color.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're talking about way back when he first built it.
Mm-hmm. Hang on just a second here. Where is that? Okay, let's see. Sure. All right, you see that?
Here it is.
I'm saying I remember.
Not yet.
There it is.
I guess what I'm seeing, or what I think I'm seeing, is the white has yellowed, especially in the fuselage.
Yeah.
And then but it's red trim. I think there is some black wing walks and whatever.
I love the old Vico spinner.
There we go. I got it now.
Yeah, big old Vico spinner on it and everything else. But you
cool.
see those the jet pods on the side were just enough to help reinforce the leading edge joint and also help keep the tail from whipping, I think.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good idea.
And I don't remember it being a terribly large airplane. I would guess in the 500 to 550 square area region, but not real big or anything. It's just a nice, simple, and it had a nice look to it. But really, it was a simple profile, and it flew really well. So that was, which was ultimately the bottom line. So
yeah,
the numbers look good.
Yeah. It's just nothing, not really earth-shattering or anything like that, but it was just a nice, nicely executed airplane. So.
Yep.
And it's a tri-gear.
And it's a trike gear. Hey, it's a 60s era jet, right? Of course, it's a trike gear.
Give you those takeoff and landing points, that extra 10 to 15 points in a pattern.
Well, it also means that you didn't nose over on a grass field or anything like that, too. So.
Yeah.
15 points more. It all depends on who's judging. Some judges don't like some judges feel that using a trike gear is almost cheating.
Well, and if you've got a habit of walking out and mooning the judges before you pick up your handle,
Oh, you're done. You can go home. It's over. Oh man. Usually I have the other problem. The judges moon me.
Yeah.
They hold up the score sheet with a big goose egg on it,
That's right. Oh boy.
That's it. They start right when they're writing the scores while you're still setting up the fly. That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
So.
It's a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the runner's called in while you're running your lines out, you don't have a chance.
That's it. Oh well.
What kind of wings he building there? Looks like a.
I'm going to be making a real effort to go to Brodak this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
That would be awesome, John. Love to see you there again.
Yeah, we hope.
I'd love to be there. Your father blew me away, Denny. He hadn't seen me for 20, 25 years. And here we're Brodak, and he's sitting there, over by the pavilion area there, and underneath in the shade where we all eat. He's sitting there, and I got this beard on. I mean, I know I don't look like anything he would have remembered. And I look at him and says, "Big Art, it's good to see you. Do you know who I am?" And he looked for me and thought about it. He says, "John Miller." How did he know?
I don't know, but I'll go out on a limb and say maybe he read your name tag. So.
Oh no, I'm 20 feet away from him. He must have had great eyesight.
Oh, that's it. That's actually one of the things he did kind of late in life. He had LASIK surgery, and
oh yeah,
his eyesight improved from like 2200 to 2010. All right.
Wow.
He didn't need glasses or anything else, and it was like he had never seen that well since he was even when he was a kid. He'd been wearing glasses since he was a kid, and he had the LASIK surgery, and it was just profound what it did for him.
Wow.
Well, that's what my airplane looks like.
Yeah. That's it.
I remember back in the mid '80s, he may have come with him to Milwaukee where he did a stunt clinic.
Uh-huh.
He watched me fly, and he took me aside, and he gave me some good advice.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good. So he used to like doing those, and I think he helped a lot of people with that. Like if I had to see, there's a lot of people continuing that tradition now, so it really helps. So Len, you guys gonna have a spring training day at the bean field like you had last year? You're planning on that?
I don't know. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not this year because we're going to Joe Knoll so early. So I don't know what the plan is really. It's a possibility. I'm really not sure what the plan is for that this year. We should do something like that. Like we had a bunch of people here last year. Keith Morgan came down and a few others, and we basically went hard at it for a whole week. We were at it every day. But whether that's going to happen this year, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, though.
It was good.
Yeah, when you can get out like that and have have people watching and helping
We were
and
lucky.
everything
We
like
had
that.
some
It's
good
just so
weather
worth it.
too.
Yeah.
It's good if you can get some good weather early in the season, and we managed to get
Yeah.
a few really good days that week. So we sort of
Mhm.
have to play it, but with that too. There's no sense in having everybody come down here if it's crappy weather every day, and we just sit around the house and talk BS. You know.
Mhm. Well, of course, that's the best part of all, right?
Well, true, but it's nice if you can get out and fly.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. But well, at
I
Joe
saw
now,
that
I
little
guess.
pin your dad gave you. You remember those little pins he had? Your dad. Do
I'm sorry again.
Yeah, I
you
did.
remember those little pins your dad had? It said Big Art. You know, had his picture on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got that.
That's great. He passed out a lot of those. I don't even know how many. He made up a bunch, and then then went up and made a bunch more. He used to pass those out. That was the standard greeting card when you go to like one of the international meets or something. Everybody's passing out their model, their club pins and stuff, and he'd pass out his Big Art pin. So that was good.
Yeah.
A lot of them out there. So
The first time I met your dad, Dennis, I was scared skinny of him. He scared me. I didn't know who he was. He came up here to Canada to judge our stunt trials back in 1981, and it was the
right.
first time I'd ever flown in anything like that. He was a scary guy. He's like, who is this guy? I don't know who he is.
Yeah.
He was yelling orders. He was yelling orders at everybody, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Was he
Oh yeah.
was he a big imposing sort of a guy?
Oh yeah, he was big
I
back in
mean,
those days. He was a big man, and I tell you, he scared the daylights out of me. I'm thinking, I'm not going to mess with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know if it was so much that he was
Uh,
physically big, except he had a big presence, between a gruff voice
yeah,
and whatever.
he did,
And he'd look at you
but he didn't
seriously
take
and
any.
everything. And plus, everybody saying,
And he
"Oh, Big
didn't
Art's
take
going to
any.
be here," or something like that. That always put the fear of Big Art in it. But
Oh yeah, that's what they did to
yeah.
me.
yeah,
They said to me, "You know who that is?" I go, "No, who is this?" "Oh, that's Big Art." "Who's Big Art?" "Well, you're about to find out." "Oh, okay."
yeah. Well,
I found out.
That
I
tightened
think
up your flying, man.
I told this story before, but I like telling it. So he was at one of the world champs in France, and he was like chief judge there. And he's
Right.
like their practice day or whatever. He's walking around and walks up to one of the French team airplanes, and it's a yellow airplane. And he looks at it and kind of grumbles to himself, "I hate yellow." All right. The flyer goes running up to the team managers, "Sucker blue," or whatever. Says, "The chief judge doesn't like my airplane." The team manager looks at him and says, "That's Big Art. He's just pulling your leg." It's
At
funny.
least it wasn't green.
It was either at that time or soon thereafter. He built a classic era airplane called the Jaguar,
Right.
French design. John, you know the airplane? Basically,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a T-bird. It looks a lot like a Thunderbird with a wing-mounted landing gear, but big pieces and all that all look like T-bird and stuff. And of course, he painted it yellow with red, white, and blue trim.
Yellow.
French. His favorite color was yellow. But
My
Yeah.
he
favorite
just said,
color is yellow too for an airplane.
yeah, he loved painting yellow airplane or painting his airplanes yellow, and but he just had to make that comment like that just because. But that's the kind of thing that gets you a reputation of being a hard ass. So
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you familiar with a French design called the Scepter?
I remember from about 1980 or so.
Oh no, this is classic Lego.
Oh, okay, no, I don't remember that one then.
Open cockpit, inverted engine,
Mm-hmm.
really nice lines on it, good number. And actually, in my opinion, it's really a nice looking airplane. I wish I had it. I've got it somewhere in my files, but I obviously I can't share very well off my computer.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I remember another one. Boy, I'll never find it now. The one I was thinking about was published in like Our Model Aviation in, I want to say, around 1980. It's a really pretty airplane. It's a lot like what you described. Maybe it was a later version of the same design.
Might have been the same one. The one
Yeah.
I'm referring to was in an earlier magazine. I think it was in Flying Models earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Scepter. I don't see it. Oh well. I thought I might have a copy of a plane here in this file. I don't know. I've been. I got Thomas Wilkes plan CDs. Man,
Yeah.
what a great investment that was. We're looking at old time and classic and even some modern stunt
Well,
planes.
that scepter is in those Wolfie's plans. So
Yeah, I'm sure I thought it was. I just don't see it here. But oh well. So John, are you working on any new plans for anybody these days?
no, I have been running back and forth between here and Salt Lake, trying to take care of my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I did do a little bit of work on the Vanguard and try to get it ready to get the cutting files done, so I can get at least a kit or a partial kit cut,
Mm-hmm.
and because I'd like to get that on the building board and get it framed up. It'll be my first design from the ground up electric plane,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a bit of a challenge. I've got Aldrich's Magnum, the one you sent me the plans on. I got that all ready to go, but I'm glad I'm doing this other one right now because I'm learning the difference in the commands between draft site and AutoCAD, so I'm getting better at using the draft site. It's one of those things where you have to take the time, go over and hit F1 and get the little drop down screen of all the different commands and structure and how to do things and that. And as I'm going now, I'm getting faster with it. It used to be it took me, an hour and a half to do a 10-minute job.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not getting any faster at anything.
Well, I got. I mentioned I bought I paid the license.
I'm
fee
not
for
getting
the
any
new,
faster at anything.
Yeah, I paid the license for the new version of the draft site, but the old version is still working on my old computer, the free version.
Is it?
Yeah.
I took mine off because I figured it was going to close down.
I thought it's not supposed to close out until the end of this year.
Well, I've got the Draft Site Pro, same one that Denny's got, and so and it's working out well for me. So when I trained in AutoCAD and I can't afford even the rent on an AutoCAD anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find something different that would work, that was close to AutoCAD.
Yeah.
And that's what I found with Draft Site, I think.
Yeah, I kind of worked backwards on that. Was using draft site, and then I had access to AutoCAD on a work computer, and actually figured out where all the draft site commands, I found them on AutoCAD. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I was like, but it was like going backwards for exactly what you had to go through.
Yeah.
All right. Anyhow, I don't know. I just keep dabbling along at this, and I think my biggest problem is that I have, even in my CAD projects, I have too many of them. It's like, pick one and finish it, dummy. Just pick one. It doesn't matter which. Just finish one. But I dabble at
I
this,
know
and then I
the
go dabble at that one, and go dabble at that, and you know,
I,
and
I know
We're
the
all doing
feeling.
that because we're all getting older. That's what we do.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I do the same thing now. I wanted to build a profile Spitfire. Well, I did a bunch of drawings and the whole bit and this and that. And now it's off in the corner somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe next year. It's not going to
Yeah.
happen this winter now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and Denny, have you given any more thought to Flapless?
Yeah. Just thought. See, I had a design started. It was actually, Bob Hunt was talking about. He enjoyed flying the Humbug so much that he was doing his new airplane. So airplane that he was going to call the Enlightening Bug, which is going to be same kind of concept, flapless and all that kind of stuff. He started talking about that, and I started wondering what it would take. Uh, I wanted to build an airplane that would use the least amount of energy possible. I wanted to see what I could do to make an airplane that wouldn't. So I could use the tiniest battery in and the smallest possible motor. The smallest. Well, the working project name was energy, as in lack of it. I just wanted to see how little energy I could use, to accomplish the stunt pattern. And
Right.
so it was going to be thinnish wings, flapless, and of course lightweight would have been part of it, because heavy and thick wing, or heavy and thin wings is not a happy combination, certainly. So and I wanted it to be a little bit small, because I was looking right around in a low 500 square inch area, because I thought that would be a good place to find some efficiency. And again, that's one of those things I dabbled at and had some nice looking outlines. Uh, what I wanted to make is something that looked like the old style FAI team racers they used to have back in the 60s. The elliptical wings, elliptical tails with a little bit of V in it, single wheel, all that kind of stuff. But I thought those are some of the prettiest airplanes I'd ever saw. You know what I'm talking about? The ones uh, the FAI team racers were all tiny fuselages, just barely big enough to hold the 15 engine, an inverted engine all the time, because they could put a short little landing gear underneath it. And, you know, there was like nothing, there was no wasted space anywhere on the airplane, and no wasted effort. It was just big enough to fit the rules and stuff. And of course they went like crazy. They're fast, and they always look pretty to me, though. Well, just the elliptical shapes and stuff. I always thought they just looked nice. So
Yeah.
they put a
Yep.
V tail on them, even by the rules, if they had even a slight V, they didn't have to have a fin. Even though if they had actually tried flying those things, they would have had some serious trouble with rudder area, shall we say? But it's things like that. I'm just rambling now, I guess, but I
Yeah.
wanted to see what I could do to make a low energy requirement airplane. And what that might, how it might turn out. And in fact, would it be low energy? So.
Yeah.
I looked
Well,
into the flapless airplane after our talk last time, and I
Mm-hmm.
watched the video of Bob Barron flying that humbug. I didn't like it. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like the way the airplane looked like it. It looked slushy. I didn't like it. It looked like a flapless airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, maybe you could make something better, maybe not. I don't know, but I wasn't impressed.
I remember watching the original and came to the same conclusion that at
Yeah,
first glance it looked like it was flying pretty good, and the
yeah.
more
And
I
then when I
watched
looked
it,
closer,
yeah. Well, he did a lot of other things, like he flew it on 70 feet of line. So when he
Okay.
did a corner, it looked like it was doing a tighter corner than it really was, and things like that.
Okay.
But the flip side of all of that is I think that there is more performance potential in a flapless layout than what he showed.
Than what
You
they
know?
had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I look at things like I've never flown one, but the Chiyosaki's I've seen seem to fly really well.
Most definitely. I've
Yeah.
actually seen them too at Brodax, and they fly amazing. So that's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well,
And
the difference.
Alan Brickhouse is a big fan of the Bob Gialdini design, the Rayette,
Okay.
Yep.
kind of like the
Long,
Stingray and all, but it was a profile, simple profile, and he liked
long
that.
tail moment. Long tail moment.
Exactly.
Large
Yeah.
tail volume.
Yeah, I think
That's the difference.
I think that's something that was lost in maybe lost in the Humbug design is that they were working. The Steed was a combat model, all right, that they put a fuselage on, and I don't think they ever really exploited what would happen if you had a long fuselage on it. Like, well, the Tio, that's one of the things it's got a long tail on it, right?
Really long.
Yeah.
And not much fuselage there.
Right. Not much side area, and
No.
a pretty good sized tail. So
Have you ever flown one?
I have not. Just
I'd
watched a
love to
few, and they
fly
looked
one.
really good. So
Yeah, I'd love to fly one just to see how it feels.
mhm.
Hopefully, I'll get that.
You talking about the
Is,
Theo?
is it a kit? Like, can you get it as a kit, or do you need a plan, or what is it?
It's what again?
Can you get a kit of that, or is it just a plan?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I think the guy that was kidding them. I don't know if he's still kidding them.
Okay.
Trying to
But what
remember
about
his
a
name.
plan? Is it hard to get a plan for it?
I don't think it's hard to get a plan.
Okay.
Don't know who you'd ask.
One.
I think I'd start with somebody like Will D. Oh, Rusty. Kiyosaki plans.
Yeah.
You know any sources? Where would you get them? Do you know?
You were about to say what I was going to say is Will Davis could probably point you in the right direction. He loves his Tio, and of course my IDS is basically a Kiyosaki. Weight wise, I don't know, but as far as the design, it's the same thing, I think.
What size engine does it take?
It's got an LA-46 on it. Mine does.
Perfect.
I don't know what Will's is electric.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think they're electric, and I think they got 35s and 40s and 45s and 46s or whatever.
Well, I remember some of the sort of more successful recent flapless designs have been like the Doctor and the Medic and what's his name? The guy that designed the Excalibur, Dick Mathis. He had one called the Coyote, and these are all relatively long tail moments on them, and I think they all had straight wings. I don't think that's what they needed, but I think they pretty much had straight wings on them, Hershey bar wings. But they all did fairly well in competition. I think they had the right idea in with the longer tail moments on them. That gives you that power in the turn that you need to, if you want to make a fast turn, you need to have that power because you're not getting it off the off the flaps.
Yeah. Well, I think it's that. But I think the long tail also helps it straighten out afterwards. So it's both control and stability. I think. So, and of course, a lot of them have really big tails too, which I don't know. I've got a Ringmaster framed up. I have one, basically a stock one I fly, and it's like I built the second one, and it's like, all right, now what? I'm dying. I think I'm going to take that thing and I'm going to add about 4 inches to the rear of the fuselage just because it needs it. Then I'm going to take and glue the elevator to the stabilizer, and then I'm going to recut the hinge line about a ½ inch farther back, where it ought to be, And I don't know. I was actually thinking of coupe de graces. I was going to cut in some flaps in the wing too, like partial span flaps. But I don't know. Maybe that's not even worth it. But
Now
it's
you're
like,
getting close. Now you're
but
getting
it.
closer to a 576.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. I was thinking a 576 kind of layout with a stock ringmaster, but
Yeah.
which I think would be nothing wrong with that. And then I think about it and think, all right, now what are you going to do with it? Oh, you got the best flying piece of crap ringmaster in history. All right, so
If
all right.
Joe Gilbert can go out and win first place at a major stunt contest with a ringmaster, you could too with a little practice, or maybe more.
Well,
If you can get it set up right, definitely.
take the best ringmaster that ever was with the best pilot that ever was, and he'll still lose to somebody with a flight streak.
Well, I don't know. I want to see you beat Joe Gilbert with a flight streak.
And I think even better, I really think something like the Shark 402 layout.
It's a
Uh,
fantastic airplane.
yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
it's got the good wing. It's got virtually a flight streak wing in it, and it's got just a little better, little longer fuselage, bigger tail.
And light as a feather.
Yep, they build light. They're fantastic. So
See,
Naomi's got a.
I'd like to take the Super Ringmaster and redo it. Get rid of excess weight wherever it's possible, and I'm sure it's possible in a lot of places. And play with that one, stretch it back a little bit, things like that. I think that'd be one I'd rather do it with than the profile.
yeah. Well,
At least then it wouldn't be called a piece of crap profile,
yeah. The thing I like about the Super, of course, it looks nice with the fuselage and everything like that, but it kind of drives me crazy that we allow a ringmaster to fly an old time stunt based on dates, and of course, and the Super Ringmaster is design wise, it's the same content as a regular ringmaster. So why the hell can't we fly a Super in old time? All right.
Yeah.
It's like nobody is going to have a competitive advantage flying a Super Ringmaster against a profile ringmaster or against any of the others in old time. It's the same. It's the
Dates
same
talk,
airplane.
right?
Yeah. So I just wonder. I don't know. I made a couple of made some noise about that in the old time stunt forum, and of course oh my God, you can't do that. But it's like there's a lot of airplanes that were designed, in the what the cutoff year is 52. There's a lot of 1953 through like heck in the early 60s. There's a lot of airplanes there that to me look just like old time stunners. They're flapless and a lot of them are simple airplanes. Heck, there's a lot of biplanes in there and stuff like that. There's even airplane. There's the one biplane saying, "Hey, this is designed for the old ignition 60 that you don't fly anymore." It came out in like 1956 or something. And it's like, if we allowed those right now, those airplanes would be considered classic stunt. Well, they don't have a snowball's chance of flying a classic stunt. All right, that's just
True enough.
yeah. And so they could fly an old time and they wouldn't really have any advantage over anything else. The old time pattern, doesn't really ask that much of an airplane anyway. But,
It's true.
it's like, why not just let them fly? The alternative is that these things will never be built because they can't possibly compete. All right. In a classic event. So, I don't know.
Well, the other thing is nostalgia 30s becoming a thing too, because all of a sudden now there's really good modern day designs that you can fly in nostalgia 30.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I've
It's the
seen
same
that.
sort of thing.
Yeah, it's that, and and it also really hasn't caught on with anybody. I'm surprised at that. I thought Nostalgia 30 was going to become the dominant event over Classic and everything like that, but it just ain't so. So
Give it time. Give it some time.
Maybe, but like I think that this year or next year, I think like the SV11 is going to be nostalgia 30.
Yeah. Same with Wendy's Cardinal.
Yep.
It's only like now, soon. So the airplane I'm building right now, in a year from now, I'll be able to use it in Nostalgia 30.
Guess that applies to me too. I've never flown anything except for Pampa and Profile, so that'll give me another event if I ever compete.
With what?
Next year,
My Cardinal.
my first
No,
published design
not that one.
will be legal
Which one's
for Super 70s.
which
Not the Profile, Rusty.
No,
Oh, that makes a
It came out
difference.
later.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the full body.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay. Yeah, the Profile's a
Anyway,
few years away. Yeah.
what I was saying was next year my first published design will be legal for Super 70.
Wow. Which design
Yeah,
was that
I
one?
can't believe it either.
Which one?
Can't hear you.
Which airplane?
It's called the Twister Sister.
Okay.
Based on a twister wing, and it was a full body. It was published in the old Model Builder magazine.
I had a couple of friends who built full body twisters. They flew really good.
Yeah, mine did too.
Yeah, it's a very good.
I liked it. It's just,
yeah, it's a very good airplane to make full body.
except when I got up here to Utah, they were a little heavy in this rarefied air up here.
Okay.
And one of the neatest tricks I ever did in front of the entire club was I came down straight down in I had to make, I don't know whether it was a inside square or the last part of a wing over, and I turned and the plane turned level, and I was still 10 feet above the ground, and it just kept settling down, landed on the gear, rolled away, and I took off again. It just too heavy for the thin air.
That's wild.
I built that when I was living in the Midwest. I was only 600 to 800 foot altitude there.
So what's the difference between the old time stunt pattern?
Biggest thing is that it doesn't really. It has one nominal square loop in it, and that's it. But it doesn't have all the inside squares, outside squares, square eights, things like that. It has.
You do 5 loops, I think, instead of 3.
Yeah.
And the figure 8s are lazy 8s, are they not? Is that right?
Pretty much,
Right.
yeah, but
And you do
taped round.
They have a maximum size and maneuvers of a 60-degree elevation instead of a 45-degree elevation. And
You got it. You got an interesting way to get inverted and get out of inverted.
yeah,
Most
they just
definitely.
do it. But basically, it's a really basic way of flying a control line airplane compared to a modern stunt pattern. And so, I guess, and this is one of the things that's kind of baffled me about it. In the day, and I talked to people like Wesley Dick, and he placed at the Nationals back when it was when old time stunt was modern stunt, right? And he said you had to fly as fast as you could, as low as you could, and as tight as you could. That's how you got points back then. And if you look at the rules for the pattern, the way it's written, you can't find a way. You can't find a way to get there, especially the low flight stuff. There isn't anything that says there.
That's
As
right.
far
They
as
want you at 10 feet.
yeah, they're saying
6 to 10 feet.
yeah, there are a couple of places it says something like 6 to 10 feet, but it doesn't. It doesn't even really prescribe that as normal level flight. All right. So it's kind of frustrating. One big difference you could say is that in the old time stunt pattern, the way the rules were written, you could drive a truck through it. You know, as far as there were so many loopholes and stuff in the way that things were described. And today we've got ourselves, we become so anal retentive, I guess would be the best thing. I mean, we describe every motion, every part, every climb and every dive, and you're doing the entire pattern. And it has parameters for doing it the correct way. And the old time pattern isn't written that way, so it can be kind of frustrating for flyers and judges alike. And what is right? Well, I don't know. About the only thing you
Back
can
in
do
the
wrong
day,
is fly big, but yet I've seen people flying really big, like 80 degrees, win the nationals. Win our U.S. nationals, the old time event there. So who knows? You go out and you
back in
fly
the
and you
day,
see what happens. So
back in the day, at least in Southern California, I've been told that they used to fly at between 80 and 90 miles an hour,
mhm.
and they would make their pullouts. If the closer you get to the ground without actually crashing with your pullouts, and that was where you wanted to be. You
Mhm.
go inverted and you bring that thing around, and your prop might be 6 inches off the ground at 90 miles an
That's how
hour.
Bob
That
Zambelli
man, you
flies.
famous for that. And of course
That's how Bob
the
Zambelli flies. Maybe that's why I've always wondered why he always flew. And that's his main event too. The contest that I've seen him fly at is the all time stunt, and he just
Mhm.
burns smoke and holes in the sky.
Yeah.
And maybe that's
yeah.
why he flies that way.
Well, like the Yates Madman, that was designed to fly that speed. Most of the very competitive old time stunt ships were fast flyers. What's that one that
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of, it used a Fox 59 in the front. It was a very streamlined thing. The cockpit was way back right in front of the vertical stabilizer.
I know
Uh,
the one you mean.
remember that
Oh,
design?
Stunt wagon. The
Stunt
bolt.
wagon,
that's
that's
right.
it.
The
Stunt
bolt stunt
wagon.
wagon.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. Hal D. Bolt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The stunt wagon was designed to fly that way.
Well, it says right on the plans, John, says 110 miles per hour. On 70 feet, 021 line. That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
says
holy
so on the
crap!
plans. You got to believe it, right? So
My minivan will do that too.
yeah, that's it. What downhill
Six
maybe?
inches off the ground.
But you know darn well, Madman Yates didn't get his nickname flying 60 miles an hour and 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet off the ground,
Exactly.
right?
Not a bit.
Yeah,
That's right.
They'd have shot him.
yeah. He would have been, mild man, or he would have been mellow man Yates flying that way, not Madman. But he had a
That's right.
400 square inch airplane with a what was it, a Norwick 74 in it or something like that. That was
That's
not
awesome.
made.
Yeah.
That wasn't made to putt around the circle, man.
No. It's gonna go.
So
Oh
He had
yeah.
a
I don't know.
cool hand. Everything else,
I'd have
man.
really liked to
Cool
seen
hand.
some of those guys fly. It must have been something to watch.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet some
I
of
got
those
to go to
older
a
guys.
dinner. I got to go to a dinner one time that Jim Mayfield, I think, was the speaker,
Hmm.
and he mentioned some of this stuff of flying at the Santa Anita racetrack parking lot, and it was. I wish I could remember all of it, but I was fortunate to be there because I think it was the last time he spoke in public.
Mm-hmm. So
There's only one thing I hate about old time stunt: going out and trying to fly regular stunt the next day.
Yeah.
It just talk about a way to mess yourself up. Oh, just a mess. I remember standing at Brodax after flying old time stunt the next morning, and I had to ask Naomi how many loops to do because I couldn't remember whether it was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I was so messed up from flying old time. It was just, I was a wreck.
Well, if you want to be messed up, Len, try flying your old time airplane and then go fly the exact same airplane in classic stunt.
Oh, God.
Take off and remember, all right, what am I flying again? You know?
Yeah, what am I doing now?
Yeah, that's it. And I've done that with I got a couple airplanes, not a lot of room in the car. Sometimes I'll take
No,
one
that's
airplane
why,
to
exactly.
do a couple of events with it. And the old time airplanes will do a pretty, the best of them will do a really respectable modern pattern. Which, by the way, is why I think the flapless stunt plane is definitely in play. It's like, okay, can you design like a 1950 fifth grader? And yeah, we can do a little better than that, I hope.
Do
God, I
you
hope we've
remember?
learned
Dennis B
something in
just
the last
signed in
70
and said,
years.
super duper Bill.
I hope we've learned something in the past 70 years. But
Denny, do you remember the pattern between the old time as they fly it and the modern that we fly now? The I think it was a pre-57 pattern, 52 or 53 to 57. You remember that? I had to learn that. I just got it learned, and then they changed the pattern to what we're flying now.
no, I was born in 1954, so
You're a little young.
some of that stuff's a little fuzzy to me, John. I would have been 3 years old in
I was
1957. So
well. There might be a place for those forgotten stunt ships you're talking about. They're in
yeah,
the classic era. Have them
yeah.
fly that pattern. It was
Does anybody
interesting. I
know
think
what a
there
super
has.
duper Bill is?
Yeah, I've never
So
seen a
Anybody know what a
copy of
super
that pattern.
duper Bill is?
Sorry. Say it again, Rusty.
Dennis B just posted super duper zilch. Does that fit in with anything y'all are talking about?
Super Duper
Yeah.
Zilch is an old time airplane, old time era, pre 1952.
I thought it was a combat designer, wasn't it?
Not the Super Duper. That was
Okay.
a huge airplane.
That was a stick built one, wasn't it?
No, it was the Super Duper had sheet off the sides, but it was like well over 600 square inch wing, about an inch thick. Designed for 60 ignition engines and stuff. But yeah, there's only a couple of the Zilches that don't fit the old time era. So
Zilch expendable. That's what I
yeah.
said.
Well, there was a last ditch effort, Zilch Mark 30, Zilch Mark 40, or something like that. Apparently, they were actually Zilches with flaps on them. Just about the time the Berkeley company ended, they just resurrected the name one more time and brought it out. But
Yeah, I'm going
And
night night.
Fox bought
See
it
you guys
out.
later.
See you later.
take care.
Fox bought Zilch out.
Who's leaving? Oh, okay.
Berkeley, I
Take
mean.
it easy, man.
And then didn't Sig get Berkeley from Fox?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they probably still own the rights to all those Berkeley designs.
They do, and they've actually made some noise. There was people who were, talking about, doing short kits or short runs or even selling plans to things like, the Zilches and stuff. And Sig, the new owners of Sig, when they bought out Hazel 10 years or so ago, they made a point of pointing out that nobody better be copying their designs. They owned all the rights to it. But, okay.
You know what I can't believe they don't sell is that primary force. I can't believe they don't sell that airplane. They'd be making piles off that one.
Yeah. I don't know. They were the primary force was all ARFs too, and I think they could sell them
True
as
enough.
kits.
Yeah, like they should have both of those. They're such good airplanes. I don't understand it.
I guess there's
Yeah,
there's
that's
another
fine.
example of a modern flapless airplane. It's pretty darn good flying.
Mikey
but it's
Pratt's
big.
design.
Yeah. Fantastic airplane, and it should be out there, and you should be able to get them, and we can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad.
Yep. I don't know. It's
I mean, they ditched a whole bunch of their stuff. They don't sell anymore, but I don't know why they cut that one off. That was a very good airplane.
Yeah, I the only reason I could think of, Len, is they were ARFs, and they probably just didn't contract to build anymore. And,
No, I guess not. Oh
I-
well.
Mikey is selling plans in that for it. Maybe he still owns it all.
That's
He's
possible.
selling plans and some kits and semi kits. I don't know if he's selling anything that's exactly like the SIG, but changing it, make it a little bigger, a little smaller, or something like that. Also, it's not the SIG airplane anymore. And I don't think he calls any of them primary force either, which probably is copyrighted to SIG.
Okay.
But again, on Stunthangar in his little hobby section down below, he's got a list of what he has to offer and stuff. So
He has a really neat flying wing, like
Mhm.
the Fierce Air Wing.
Mhm.
But I've watched it fly, and it flies much better than any Fierce Air I've ever saw.
Mhm.
Did the primary force have a tapered wing or a straight wing?
I think it was tapered.
I think it was, yeah. I have a plan for it, and it is tapered in the plan. But I also have another plane called a Force, which looks exactly the same, only it's got a straight wing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Flaps. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, you'd have to. I'd go
Plane's primary force
info
right
on that. So you go to Mike Pratt and say, hey, just how do these things line up and how do they compare and stuff like that. I know he was making noise. He had taken the force design up a level. I think he's introducing one with flaps on it now.
Yeah,
Which is,
and I
you know.
have both. I have a primary force plan, and I also have a force plan. And the force plan has flaps. It looks like a good flying airplane too. It looks like the same airplane basically, but it has flaps
Yeah.
and a straight
Hey,
wing.
Denny?
It's not a tapered wing.
Denny, you're having that problem with your mic. You lean over to the right, we can't hear you. Over to the left, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Well, I've never been accused of being a left-leaning commentator, so I guess maybe that's it. I'm somewhere to the right. I'm somewhere to the right of Attila the Hun. So what the heck? So
You're sounding good now.
You really are left wing. Denny, you really are left wing, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. Only right wing. So, oh well. Anyhow.
Is that inboard or outboard?
All right.
Depends on which way you fly.
Oh.
That's it. So
No,
anyway.
Mikey Pratt was responsible for a couple of good designs that SIG had. Their Magnum, he designed that.
Mm-hmm.
And the primary force he designed. Yeah.
But how many of the Skyrays are out there?
Yeah, exactly.
there's a million of those.
Yeah. So, and those apparently fly like crazy. People are using those for everything. They fly carrier with them and stunt and combat and everything else. So
I was actually planning to build another one of those until I got a hold of that Shark 402, and then I never bothered.
Yeah. Hey, Len, I got a question. Do they still fly the Jim Walker event up in Canada?
Yes, we do. Not very often, but we do fly it. Yep, for sure. We usually fly it about once a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you? I remember watching it and everything like that. But can you
Yeah.
tell me again what that was all about?
Okay, so the Jim Walker, the idea of is that you want an airplane that goes fast, that does stunts, and has appearance. You have appearance points as well for craftsmanship, workmanship, and you can have scale appearance. They'll give you extra marks for that if you make something that's scalish. But the idea is that you take off and you do a series of some basic stunts. You have to do 2 wing overs, just normal wing overs, not reverse, 4 loops, 4 inside loops consecutive, 2 lazy 8s, and that's all the stunts you have to do. Then 1 optional maneuver. They score you a 0 to 10 for 1 optional maneuver based on originality and degree of difficulty. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then what you do after that is you do a speed run for a number of laps based on whatever size engine you have. And they average the speed out among the airplanes so that they can calculate whose is the fastest based on the engine size. And then they add the appearance points to the stunt points to the speed points plus the optional maneuver. And the other thing they score you for is for a spot landing. They give you an extra either anywhere between 0 and 10 points for a spot landing if you can land at a specific spot that you pick the spot before you take off.
Okay.
And then so they add it all together at the end, and that's how they score you. They add the stunts, the speed, the appearance points, the optional maneuver, and the spot landing.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I was asking is that I always liked the idea that it was a kind of a multitask kind of event.
Yeah, that's what it is. The multitask event.
Yeah, and so the idea of going fast and they used to fly the so-called AYSC event in American juniors, and they had to fly with the same airplane. They'd had a speed event, a stunt event, and a duration event, 3 separate flights.
Yeah.
And it sounded like it must have taken a long time every day to fly those things, but yeah, but your winning score, of course, was your performance in all 3 events, all 3 tasks, and everything like that. So
it's sort of the same thing with this. It's a good little event. We enjoy it.
yeah, well, that's it. I was just wondering if there's something in the cards for us, like like that now. Especially as so many of our flyers are getting older and stuff like that.
I will bring you a copy of the rules for that.
That sounds great.
Okay, and then you can look it over and see what you think.
Mm-hmm. But I was thinking it might be a way, for combat flyers to get involved with stunt a little more, and stuff like
most
that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because you can use any kind of an airplane. I mean, guys have used everything from combat models to whatever. Because you see, if you fly a combat model, for instance, right, you're gonna clean all the speed points right off the table to start with. Then it's a matter of, can you do the stunts and stuff well enough to make up the difference?
Right.
A guy like you would have a beautiful stunt airplane and fly the stunts absolutely perfect. You're going to clean the stunt points right off the table. But you're not going to get, but you're not going to get a lot of speed points. You see, so you're going to clean up on appearance and you're going to clean up on your maneuvers, but you're not going to get many speed points. So you're trying to make the best do with what you can. Mm-hmm. The idea is to get an airplane that does all 3 well. Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah. And of course, having airplanes that look good, there's nothing wrong with that,
I'll actually bring my Jim Walker model up right now and you can have a quick look at it because I still have it.
Okay.
Hang on.
But
I remember talking with Bob Palmer some years back, and he was talking about one of the times he won the nationals. She said that year they were having a spot landing event. In other words, you had to land closest to that line there, and he figured out he had a trike gear, and he put a brake on it where he could use the down on his handle would would put this brake on the nose wheel.
Mhm.
And so he rolled right up to it, hit down, and stopped right on the line. Won the nationals that year with that airplane.
Well, I know the guy who came in second place that year. I
Who was
knew the
that?
guy. Bob
Huh?
McDonald's dad, Raleigh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he said they showed up at the nationals and they told him, "Oh, we're gonna have the landing is going to be a spot landing." Nobody else knew about it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And he always wondered how the heck Palmer, who never built a trike gear airplane in his life, all of a sudden had a trike gear airplane with a brake on it, you know. And the contest is that I think it was in California, even imagine that. And so it was like, yeah, Raleigh came in second and third place a lot of times, in a lot of different goofy circumstance and stuff like that. And that was one of them that he was, I think. I don't know if bitter is quite the right word, but that actually is probably the right word. But I mean, he was just still incensed about it,
Yeah.
and he lost by like 1 or 2 points or something like that because he didn't have brakes and couldn't make a spot landing, or at least not like that. So anyhow, okay,
Okay,
Lenny, you
Len,
got
we're
it.
ready.
Okay. So what we have here is an airplane that I've used for many, many years for Jim Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is it's my own design. I designed this when I was, about 18 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is it's about the size of an Acromaster, except I
Okay.
made a thicker wing for it so that it would
Mm-hmm.
give me better stuntability.
Yep.
It's very thin. The fuselage is very, very thin on it. There's almost no fuselage there at all, so that keeps it very light.
Mm-hmm.
It has flaps as well as elevators,
Yeah.
so that way it stunts very well. And what I ran in it in the day was a Super Tiger 19,
Mm-hmm.
which at the time was a very quick little motor.
Right.
You can see by the size of the Venturi in it is huge. So
Right.
it has to run on pressure. It won't run just on straight suction.
Uh-huh.
So this thing just goes like stink, but it turns well because of the flaps.
Mm-hmm.
It also has scale appearance because it's a cosmic wind.
Right.
So I built a little cosmic wind with flaps that goes fast and
Mm-hmm.
turns well. And I won a lot of Jim Walker contests with this airplane over the years. It's in rough shape now. I mean, let's see, it's 31 years old. So it's a tired airplane.
Yeah.
But it served me really well. It's been a great little airplane. And it just flies on 52-foot lines. And
Really? Okay.
yeah, 52-foot lines, and it goes like stink.
Was there any engine restrictions or anything like that? Size or?
I think the maximum is 40.
Okay.
I think that's the only restriction I know of. And then at the bottom end, probably a 10 or a 15 would be the minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be a practical minimum if nothing
The
else.
thing is, though, is that there's cutoffs for the way they calculate your speed. Like the engines are in 3 classes, like from 15 to 21 and 21 to 29. I don't remember the exact numbers.
Yeah.
And then 35 and up type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I'll get you that information and you can read it over and see what you think.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think some kind of a multitask event would be fun. So.
Yeah, and it is a lot of fun. But again, for me, it was always about trying to come up with a model that would do all 3 things reasonably.
Yeah. That's one of the things I wish they do, at Brodak. And Charles Carter has joined us. I don't want to. Sorry, I don't
Hi,
want to.
guys.
Hey, Charles.
Don't want to walk over that. But
Hi, Charles.
the Brodak Ringmaster event, I think they're missing an opportunity. We ought to fly that with because the Ringmaster spans kind of, it's an old time era design, but because it kind of spans the eras, we ought to fly like 1 round of old time stunt and then add it to 1 round of modern stunt or something like that. You know, two
That's a
flights,
neat idea.
but just make it a little interesting, and maybe there's a jumping off point for. And frankly, that was one other possibility I had in mind for those in between designs, is because they were old time designs, but in a modern era, maybe have a contest where they have to do both and see how they do. But
I always thought a fun event would be to everybody flies a ringmaster, but you fly 4 events over a day or something like that. So you fly stunt, you fly stunt, you fly racing, you fly combat last, and maybe balloon bust.
Yeah.
So if you flew stunt, racing, balloon bust, and then combat last, I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it would be too. I think so
I mean,
too.
it doesn't have to be wild, all-out combat, but it could be like friendly combat type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or
There is no friendly
extra points if you don't crash, like they fly combat at Brodex.
Well, maybe they ought to have something like, and then judge appearance points after the combat event.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So in other words, if you lose your airplane during combat, you don't get your appearance points.
Yeah, or if you got it taped back together or something like that, you'll get less than somebody who tanked in the combat event just to save his airplane or something like that. But
but the only problem with that is somebody who has a terrible ringmaster is going to try and take the nice guy out.
Exactly.
Denny, you could make it open to all old-time stunt legal plus, and then you put on a list of these designs, these neglected designs, that they would also be considered legal for this for a thing, and have fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be something like that. I would, in my own mind at least, I would limit it to airplanes that were, follow the circle burner philosophy. I only want to see airplanes that were actually published, or actually kitted. I don't want to get into documenting Uncle Joe's airplane that we have a faded picture of or something like that, and guilty as charged, but I think I think it would just put some reasonable borders on, what these in between designs really were. So.
The only good thing about having the ringmaster and everybody flying it, though, is that it kind of levels the playing field.
I'd like to be able to fly my super ringmaster,
Well, that's it. I don't think a super versus the regular, and frankly, I don't.
Difference.
Yeah, that shouldn't be any difference there at all.
That shouldn't be any difference. Any kind of ringmaster with a 42-inch span should be allowed.
Exactly, and it's even things John Miller, do you know anybody who could prove that Matt Kanaya designed the Circus King?
No, I don't know anybody who could prove it, but it sure is suspicious.
If I could set the Circus King wing on the table, and there would be 10 out of 10 people would call it a ringmaster. All right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And now the wild thing is that Kanaya was at PDQ before he went to Sterling. And then the first thing he did at Sterling was the ringmaster, 1950 or something like that. And the Circus King wasn't kitted until sometime, after the 52. But again, that's an airplane that, you set it on the table next to a ringmaster. There's no competitive advantage, one way or the other. And it's like, why in the heck can't we fly the Circus King?
Well, didn't that company also have a F-51 that they
did?
Produced?
They actually had an F-51 and a Yak. And guess what? Sterling came out with it right after Kanaya joined them.
An F-51 and a Yak.
Exactly.
Go figure.
Well, it's kits S1, S2, and S3, I believe. The first 3 kits.
I would say, what was the name of the company that put out the Circus King?
PDQ.
PDQ. I would think that in all fairness, that PDQs ought to be legal for old time.
Yeah, I think so. The thing is, I haven't been able to find in black and white anywhere that says Kanaya designed the Circus King. If he did, then regardless of when it was actually kitted, it should be legal because he left
I seem to
PDQ
remember
before he
somewhere,
joined Sterling. So
I seem to remember somewhere seeing his name associated with PDQ on something.
yeah,
On one of the designs, if I remember correctly.
If you want to get really crazy, if you look at just the PDQ airplanes, of course the Flying Clown, the Super Clown, and I think the Baby Clown are all old time legal, clearly designed in the era. Well, the Circus Prince isn't considered old time legal, even though it uses the same wing and tail as the Flying Clown, but it has a different fuselage shape.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's technically it was kitted after the 52 break and everything like that. But it's like, hey, if somebody shows up with a Circus Prince, are should we DQ him because it's not a Flying Clown? It's like, wait a minute, let's draw it. Is it better to have a hard black and white line, or is it better to have hey, let's let everybody play? So
better to be more inclusive. What about F&B out of Denver? F&B models?
Yeah.
That's your Sharpie, your Vampire. There's
Viking.
They were all before the cutoff date, though. I don't think they're all legal.
Well, the Viking and the Vampire certainly are, and the Sharpie. The only thing I've ever heard on the Sharpie is that there was some controversy about just what the dimensions were because it was apparently brought out for ignition engines with a short nose, and then later on modified into a longer nose version to handle glow engines. Well, glow engines came out 1948 was it?
Yeah.
So the only thing I've ever heard is just which ones can you document, which one can be documented.
Right.
But again, it still circles off to the same question: who cares? They're all basically there, and they made these changes so the airplane would bounce, not because they'd be better flying airplanes.
That was for trim purposes. Somebody told me once that changes made, nose length and things like that for trim was legal.
Well, yeah, and if you look at, we were talking about Zilches before. They all show how to balance it with a heavy engine, and you cut off 2 inches off the nose, you cut off 2 inches for a heavy engine, or if you build it long nose, if you use like an Olson or a Super Psych, I guess was a really light engine and stuff like that. But if you used the Anderson Spitfire was the same as the Super Cyclone, except that it had ball bearings or something like that, right? It was a heavier engine, but I guess it was in major pieces were basically interchangeable. So, but yeah, so the kit plan showed you how to lengthen or shorten the nose based on this, the particular engine you used. Okay.
Right. Well, the Stinger.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Stinger is legal. I know that. That was what was his name? California.
Dale Kern.
Dale Kearns.
Yeah.
And that was where I got introduced to F&B, working with Dale on that.
Mm-hmm.
And he answered a lot of my questions about who actually designed what at the time. Yeah. Old time stunt is like you said, people have gotten and possibly rightly so have gotten so anal about certain things have to be just certain ways.
Yeah. And in some ways they talk about them almost like scale models,
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, they are.
In some areas they do, but like at our local contests, we're pretty lenient.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the level of the competition. At the Nats, they're going to be pretty stringent. At VSC, they're going to be pretty stringent about stuff. But on the local level, I think in most cases, it gets a little softer.
Yeah. Well, I just redid the Viking for Brodak. Okay.
Right.
And the reason I redid it is that the original kit he had, the plans came, and he didn't, and John did not order this or anything like that, but it had a planked leading edge. Okay.
Okay.
It's a good way to build a wing, not any attempt at cheating or anything like that. But a lot of people beefed about it, so took it on. I took it on to redesign it and try to restore the unsheeted wing. Uh, but one of the problems with the original Vikings is they like shedding their wings, and I didn't
Yeah.
think nobody's nostalgic about that, right?
No.
So within the old time rules, it says, hey, you can beef up the structure. Well, great. I put a big beefy spar in it, and
Yeah.
slip the ribs on it. If you look at it, even with clear covering, if you look at it, it looks like the original wing. And but I had 4 different sets of plans to work on, and based on those 4 sets of plans, I could one plan or the other. I could disqualify every single Viking on the field. All right.
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, I have one too, and it's got the planked leading edge. They've never disqualified me, but I guess they could.
yeah. Well, some people grumble and bitch about it. I've never heard of anybody actually being DQ'd for it or anything like that. But I don't know. It just seemed like I did that. I took that on. John wasn't really concerned with it. He had actually talked to John Miskey about it, and Miskey was on board saying he was okay with John's airplane. So
Yeah,
I consider that to be a pretty good source. So
for sure.
One John had the biggest problem with that way was the Tomahawk.
Mm-hmm.
That he had a big problem with. Somehow he came out with the later version for the early or something or other like that. You remember that?
I remember. Well, I don't remember any controversy about it. I remember that John. I think John actually has the old Tomahawk, but he had some that were the new version or something like that. Or I don't remember. I just don't know the whole story on that. So
Yeah.
I know there was some grief on it. Was there any difference, fundamental differences besides the swept fin? Was there any difference between the original Tomahawk and a later one? I just don't know.
I think there was. I think
Okay.
there was.
Okay.
I mean, it's all straightened out now, so it's
Mhm.
But at the time, it was not a good thing for a lot of the guys.
Mhm. So
Is Charles Carter still there?
sure is.
Here.
Hey, Charles,
Hey,
I have a quick question for you. On your
Alrighty.
Strega with the 81, do you use a Raby rudder?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to find out about that because I'm building this Cardinal with a Cas 77, and I'm wondering about putting the Raby rudder on. I think I will.
Yeah, I think you should, because I actually have a two
Well,
Stragas.
especially with using a 14-inch prop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have a Strega that was given to me by Ruben McBride, and it doesn't have a Raby rudder,
Right.
and it's getting light above 45 degrees, and so I think
Okay.
that plane could use a Raby rudder.
Most definitely. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
how's your new Strega coming along, Charles?
I haven't been working on it, but I'm hoping to. I purchased a small Dremel table saw. You remember those old ones? Those
Yeah.
They don't make them anymore. They're out of production. So I came across one, and I've been working on that, and made a sled for it. Got some other blades for it, and that's gonna help me, cut some things more precise. Especially straight cuts. Cross
Yeah.
cuts. I just had to use a razor blade and a straight edge, to cut
Oh
something
gosh, you
straight.
gotta have a jigsaw.
yeah, so this will help me out, and so I'm pretty excited about it. It's a nice little acquisition.
For sure.
Yeah, sounds
And I
good.
got it really cheap too. I've been looking at them for no joke, like 10 years. I just could not part with that eBay money. They're going
Yeah.
for like $150, and I got one off of an offer up for like $40.
Wow.
You know, so it didn't have a safety guard, didn't have a miter gauge, but it had a
Yeah,
fence, and it
I've
worked.
never used any of that stuff ever. Who needs any of that?
I know.
I
I don't
still
know.
got
Save
all
all
my.
your fingers, right?
You guys should have
Save
been
all your
here
fingers, right?
earlier when you should have
Yeah.
been here earlier
Who
when
needs any of
Rusty.
that? You know,
Yeah,
I
little
still got
when
all my
safety guard.
digits.
Rusty was talking about his new saw, and now he actually fabricated a new blade guard for it and everything like that. So
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I was listening earlier. I couldn't get in. This is my other computer in my office. I can get in, but in my
yeah,
garage, I was doing work and I couldn't get in. And I just said, let me just watch and listen. So I was just watching and listening for the longest time. And I thought, well, they're still on, so I'll go upstairs. And I came on in.
all right. Well, it's good to
Yeah,
see you. We missed you the last couple.
I'm
You
too
getting out
klutzy
I
to
to
didn't
know
fly?
how
hear
to blade.
You
Rusty.
getting out to
I
fly
didn't
with the
hear
boys down south?
one more time.
Charles, you been able to get out and fly with the boys down south?
A little bit. We flew Friday. We had matter of fact, there's a new guy. Matter of fact, I think you guys might have seen the inquiry on the forum. This guy Joe
Yeah,
Thompson, who
yeah.
new transplant from St. Louis, used to fly with Sparky. He came out and he brought, of all things, he brought out a P-38 special, and the biplane,
Cool.
and
Mhm.
he built it with a kit, and that thing flew nice. I mean, I've never seen a real nice flying biplane, and that 38 special flew really nice. I actually flew a 38 special a couple years ago, but when engine would quit, it would just drop like a rock, you know. And but this one flew really nice, so that was kind of a pleasant surprise to have a new flying buddy in Joe Thompson, and he can do the pattern. So maybe I can get some coaching in, because I'm
Perfect.
teaching another guy named Joe how to fly. So
That's
he's a little bit apprehensive to critique me because I'm teaching him all this stuff, and he doesn't feel comfortable critiquing me, right? You know,
Well,
so I'm
just
pretty
tell
excited.
them just
I
tell
don't
them
know.
it works good by teaching each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
I think
so that's,
the best way to somebody's reluctant, give them a set of the sheets with the pattern on it and say, okay, just tell me what you saw, you know.
yeah,
Exactly.
And then they don't have to feel about, well, I thought you did this, I thought you did that. Say, hey, what did you see? Well, yeah, I mean, it's easier to do that.
that's
So
a good idea. Yeah, I'll do that. I do have those sheets.
yeah,
Yeah, they're on the Pampa website, and they're good.
yeah,
Um,
those are, I found those are really handy. I still use them all the time. I know it doesn't show, but still use them all the time. And there's no better way to really get across. It's great for coaching, but it's even great for people who aren't maybe expert judges or anything like that. It's like, tell me what you saw. Did it look
I
square?
like that
Well,
approach.
no, it wasn't. Did it look round? Well, no, it didn't.
That's
And
why it's
I
Some
like
people have a good eye, you know. You don't have
that's
to
yeah,
why
be
it's
able to
great. It's
fly
great
very
having Naomi
well to be
for
a
a
good judge.
wife because she judges, so she can
uh-huh.
watch my pattern all day long and beat me up terribly.
Well, that's it. What
that's
on,
true.
on top of everything else, she knows your mistakes before you make them too, doesn't she?
Oh, you damn right she does.
Yeah,
It's only because she cares about you, Lynn.
Yeah, but you know what? I can go out and fly, and she knows what mistakes I'm going to make before I even fly because I make them every time. I fly low bottoms. I fly this way. Oh, you did that again. It's like, oh God, I
yeah,
know, I did it again. I know, but
Well,
she's
the saying
honest.
that practice. The saying, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent.
It's true.
Hey, I gotta go to bed, guys. I gotta get up in the
Alrighty.
work in the morning.
Okay,
good
Tom.
All
night.
right, man.
Good
Take it
night.
You too,
easy.
guys.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for that video. That was great.
Yep.
I got to go too.
Yeah.
I got to go to work in the morning.
All righty.
Work.
Yeah, that's terrible.
4-letter word.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
This
Hang
is a
in there.
family program.
Oh yeah. Family
Oh, that's
programming.
good.
I'm sorry. I won't use
Yeah.
that word ever again.
Hmm.
That's good. Yeah. Well, I'm still working too, guys, but I work in the night, so I'm pretty fortunate. I can stay up because I'll be up tomorrow night at work, so it's no biggie.
All right.
You said it 3 times, Charles. Work.
Okay, it's another word for that. Vocation.
Yeah, you can only say the word work if you're talking about work on airplanes. All
That's right.
We're okay.
Yeah,
It's the
All
only
right.
context we can use it in here, right? So,
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Dennis. That's the new rule.
all righty.
All right. Good night, guys. Been
Good
fun.
night, Lenny.
Good
Good
night.
night,
Take
man.
care.
Good night.
Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Well, here we are.
Well,
Here we are.
Rusty,
Diehards once again.
we started off kind of slow, Rusty, but I think we got a pretty good night here.
Yeah, we finally got in the groove. I was a little worried
Yeah.
there at first because we had so much. It's distracting when the sound isn't working right, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And anyway,
Yeah.
we got some good airplane talk in, so I'm happy about that. Can't complain. We
Yeah.
usually do. We've always gotten into the groove late, and I always tell people that have never seen the show to wait a little while before they tune in,
Mhm.
and let us get on track. So we do. This
Like
show's
any
growing.
you have to be willing to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
show's growing. Not so much tonight. Everybody was the same folks, but we get some new people in once in a while, and it's more and more. Get a pretty good crowd, and I'm happy with that. I'm glad people are dropping in, and so many people watch us that we've never even suspected are watching us too. People
Yeah.
come up to
I know.
Rusty show all the time.
Yeah, as when I went to the Nats last year, I introduced myself to Richard Oliver, and I said, "You probably don't know who I am, but and he goes, I know who you are. I see you on the forum."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Wow, I didn't know you even watched the forum." So yeah, there are people who we don't even know who are watching it.
Yeah,
And so I found that kind of interesting. I had no idea Richard Oliver tunes in once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Anytime now. And then Sparky, there we go. And then Sparky will be hollering at me over the background. Say, Rusty, do this. Rusty, do that. And I'm sitting here waiting on the controls. We're
Yeah.
back. Okay, folks.
Ah,
All right, people. Let's call it a night. It's a good Monday night. And all you YouTubers, as usual, thank you for hanging out with us. Y'all are a great crowd. Oh, there's Gerald Wimmer. Been an interesting show. Been working and listening with my phone in his pocket. Thanks, Rusty, and good night, all. Good night, Gerald, Gary, everybody, Bob, everybody out there on YouTube land, and you guys, my diehards, my loyal diehards that support the show. I appreciate y'all. And until Friday, y'all have a good week. Do something fun. Come back and tell us about it. Until then, we'll see you. Same time, same channel. Good night.
Good night,
Get in-
Rusty. Thanks again.
Sure
get
thing.
into the
night.
workshop and build something.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, I will. Weather's getting better. So,
All
all right. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night, you guys.